There's no forests in sight that are close to you from this point forward. You're basically in flat, kind of dry plains. You can see pretty much as far ahead of you as you can look. There are some hills and some uneven dips in the terrain, but for the most part, yeah, it's not really possible to encounter anything you won't see coming for some time until nighttime hits. That being said, hills can provide some measure of cover, and they can obscure some things, but they're kind of randomly dispersed throughout the terrain, and I'll let you guys know when it becomes a bit more of a concern. Okay. So to set the tone, you guys basically, according to Randall, and according to what you saw and heard, have just befallen a rather unfortunate hex. It seems like the premonition or feeling that Randall had prior was indeed an accurate warning, although the curse that came shortly thereafter didn't happen immediately, implying that there was some sort of lengthy time component for whatever it was could reach you with its power. That being said, reach you it did, and if both of your understandings are correct and your assumptions are correct based on what you know about magic in general, without any kind of specialty in that sort of magic, it's not looking good. Morgan awaits, supposedly, with the cart, ready to take you guys along the eastern road, cross the toll bridge through close to Ushton, which is south, through Willenheim, and then eventually to Uldrick. Before you guys head back completely, though, I'm going to give you an opportunity to kind of converse, digest, and figure out kind of what you're going to do based on what has just happened sort of spontaneously. So if you guys want to role play, or
we already did, didn't we?
Yeah, ish. I mean, you're basically kind of in the shock phase, but I mean, if you want, we could just move on. Spoon, would you like to just move on? Or is there something you want to role play out? I'm basically giving you guys a chance to do shit, so I don't rush you along.
My character has very little to say at the moment.
Okay. Debo, I'm guessing you're man a few wordsing it as well?
Yep. Like,
All right, cool.
he already gets the gist of it. Like, it was pretty fucking... It was jarring enough to be, like, self-explanatory that we don't really need to talk about it. We already know what we got to do.
Oh, all right. Understandable. You remember where Morgan had stashed the cart, and he, as you said, is waiting for you there. Do either of your characters kind of outwardly show their displeasure, irritation, fright, any sort of obvious kind of emotion, something that matches the "God fucking damn it, we just got cursed" effect, or are they both just, straight-faced, badass, shadowed face?
Atticus is always fucking just looking mad, so...
Okay, so Atticus looks...
Atticus has resting bitch face.
Resting bitch face as usual. Okay, what about your character, Spoon? Your character's probably a bit more emotive.
I'll roll resolve for this.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
I'm just going with this because I passed my last whatever fuck check to not be shook by it, essentially.
Yeah,
He's just God damn it, this shit again.
Well, bear in mind that, like, when you roll against fear or terror, that just lets you retain control of your character. You can still play those things if you want. That's up to you.
At this point, he's just like, motherfucker. First the fucking demon, now this shit. I fucking hate it.
The difference, of course, being that you could reasonably foresee this one.
Yeah, reasonably.
Okay. Spoon, this is a self-imposed check. I don't know what you're calling for to make, but you can call for whatever you want to not show anything.
I got a 13. I'll basically say that my character looks mildly annoyed.
Okay. Yeah, alright. You guys both approach Morgan's cart. He's leaned up against it. Whomever he had paid to sit over it has long since gone, like it was some pay. He seems to be pulling from a rather old, weathered-looking pipe, enjoying a brief moment of reprieve before heading back on the road with you two. He looks at you both as you return. So, anything?
My character looks to Atticus and then motions for him to say something.
Guards alerted in the city. Has anybody gotten word of what we've done? Or was it quiet still?
Seemed quiet to me.
Oh, good. We have some time to get down the road then with our friend here. Isn't that right, Edward? We're closer than that. He's just grumpy today. He looks at your character, Spoon. I'm going to have him roll an empathy check. And you know what, Spoon? If you wish to roll, that would be performance or bluff to kind of conceal, your bullshit.
Sure.
6K. Hey, what'd you get?
Assuming I do not get the benefits of fame for this.
Fame would not apply in this instance.
12.
Hey, he does beat you. He gives you a look up and down and studies you intently for a couple seconds. Something the matter, Randall?
It would appear some of Atticus's faraway business has found us, for lack of a better term.
Kind of takes a small drag from his pipe, blowing out some smoke, and then he looks at your character, Debo. Troublemaker, huh?
Something of the sort. It's not one that we should consider facing in combat, though.
I certainly don't want to sail all the way to fuck with it. It's definitely for sure.
He hops up on the cart, tucking his pipe away safely. And by tucking it away, I mean kind of lolling it to the left side of his mouth. Well, if you want, we can discuss it on the way. If we're going to be traveling together, at least like to know what I'm in for. Especially if I owe someone a favor. Come on, let's go.
Very well. Let's be off. Yep, he'd hop aboard, I guess, wherever fuck's comfortable.
Yeah. There's enough space for both of you at the front. There's kind of a wide, somewhat rickety, but sturdy enough wooden platform with no real side rails or anything for safety. This is pretty bare minimum, but functional. You hear Morgan whip the draft horse, and it begins to slowly move forward at a casual canter. He looks over between you and Randall. So, what seems to be the issue?
Well, it's a bit of a long story, so
I mean, we don't have any.
I'll start at this beginning. And Atticus will just tell him the fucking story, man.
Okay, unless you specifically tell me what you choose to omit, should you choose to omit anything, which would require a roll, I'll assume you tell him everything. Is that what you do?
Thinking about if there's anything that I should omit.
This includes, just to give you an idea, this includes the hag, this includes your experiences in the castle, this includes everything about Franco and your prior party members, including Elias.
We still do not know that the wizard was a hag.
Sorry, the witch. The witch. This includes everything about Elias, your elf, the book, the shard, everything. I mean everything. So if you want to omit something, let me know so you can make a check.
Well, yeah, no, he's not going to admit anything. He's just going to tell him.
Okay, yeah.
And, if he wants to fucking still come with us, it's on him, man. It's not up to us.
Okay, yeah, you, over the course of the journey, which is fairly slow, you tell him everything. You tell him about how you got wrapped up into some contract along with Franco. You tell him about how it always seemed like you and your merry band were always in over their head for very little or no pay in some cases. You tell him about how unlucky you seem to get in a lot of your business dealings. Uh, would you go into detail as to would you go into detail as to how many people have died doing this?
Probably, yeah. He'd
Okay,
probably
yeah,
just be like, "Yeah, dude, like this is what you're getting into. I'm not gonna fucking.
sweet.
I ain't
Yeah,
bullshitting."
I'm just asking for specifics so that later on, if you want to say you omitted stuff, I asked you twice. So, okay, fair enough. Yep, you go into the entire story, lament your bad luck, and if Randall doesn't know anything about your background or about where you came from and why, he is now privy to all of this information as well, being with you guys. The poor gentleman in the back is also privy to it, not that he can do anything with it, but this is straight up the entire story. You can see Morgan's face kind of change fairly obviously. He makes no overt effort to hide his expressions, and he seems taken aback by the stuff you're telling him. And yet, the way in which you tell the story, full of conviction and genuine belief, is enough to sway him, or at least get him to entertain the things you're saying. Especially as you go over your encounters with this witch, then this demon, and particularly this book and shard. The first question he asks before you continue your story is, how much do you think it's worth?
I don't know who would buy it.
Thanks for a couple seconds. Well, whoever we'd sell it to, they would have to be able to tell that it's the real deal and to be willing to pay. That's the problem.
I feel as if it is worth far more trouble than any sort of gold. Like the damage that it can cause is, well, there would be no place left to spend the gold.
Spoon, Morgan kind of holds the reins out to your character. Have you ever driven a cart?
Not my character, no.
Do you have any ride skill?
No.
Do you say anything, or do you just take the reins?
My character would basically kind of awkwardly look at the reins. I've never driven one of these.
Well, all right. He kind of keeps the reins in one hand, and then he kind of attempts to fumble with some pipe weed and a little tiny grinder and essentially try to one-arm it while he listens to Atticus's story. Well, I don't know anyone you could sell that to, much less anyone that would believe you. But, thinks about it for a second. I'd say hang on to it. If we're going to travel together, well, we're in a merchant republic. There's always someone around here with money, and some of those people have means far beyond ours. They might have people that can tell that you're telling the truth, and, well, if I don't have to go much further than here to live a good life, I won't. But I don't think we'll get that fortunate. As for your friends, sorry for your loss.
No,
It's an unnecessary evil in a soldier's line of work, and a bounty hunter's line of work, farmer's line of work, and a trader's line of work. I'm just going to stop there. But you get it. Death is everywhere. Well, I owe you a favor, but what's your plan?
My current plan of action is to locate this man who's traveling with his ward, child by the name of Gregorio.
Morgan thinks for a second. That's a Tantian name. Or is it an Iber name? No, that's a Tantian name.
Tantian, yes. When we return him, I will be able to repay your kindness in helping with this matter. But beyond that, well, once I return home, I will be capable of perhaps finding someone to take this shard. If not, do away with it as we find on our journey.
He gives you a nod. And what about you, Randall? What's your stake in this? There's no way you're just tagging along because you had nothing better to do. Surely you've got some things you'd like to cinch up, and Well, with me and Atticus here, surely we can assist you. Not completely for free, of course. You understand we'd likely charge our own nominal fees, but there's not a single man here that moves without purpose.
My character gives him a blunted look. Well, it happened that the witch's little hex that she casted on Atticus, it would appear I've been rendered guilty by association.
Sounds like imperial justice to me. He looks over at Atticus and kind of winks.
Atticus just gives like the fucking scoff. It's like, fuck.
My character gives a spit off the side of the fucking cart. Why do you think I didn't want to be in the Imperium?
Oh shit, I'll be right back, boys.
Have you told him that you're a mage spoon?
No.
He looks over at you. Run into trouble with the law a lot then, huh?
In a sense.
He kind of quirks a brow for a couple seconds. You know, where I'm from, generally folks that live simple lives don't tend to run afoul of the law a lot. You ask me, and I had to guess, I'd say you're hiding something.
You'd be right.
Well, you don't live long enough doing what I do without a hunch. But that's your business. Whatever it is you're hiding, just make sure it doesn't get me killed. Otherwise, we might have a problem, and that'd be unfortunate. Because I like you, Randall, and I'm starting to like Atticus too, even though I don't like his face. He looks over at Atticus. Sorry, Atticus.
I think Debo's AFK.
Fuck Debo, he works for me now. Alright, I'm gonna get some coffee. Just give me a sec, spoon. Ew. Those chips you have in your hand, little bitch?
Nah, French fries.
Fucking degenerate. I love it. Alright. He then looks over at your character again, Debo, briefly breaking off the conversation with Randall. Right. So, if I understand this correctly, both of you fell afoul of a very angry witch that you were contracted to kill along with a man who is no longer alive. This spirals out of control, and now you find yourself in possession of a very valuable, powerful magic thing that threatens to ravage the entire continent unless you return it to someone who can manage it or destroy it.
That is correct.
And Atticus seems to think that some sort of other creature is following him around. Is that the...
To clarify, I met him 2 times back.
Oh, Randall, you sure know how to pick 'em. I guess I do too. Oh. Wait, he thinks for a second. Am I cursed too? He looks.
No.
No, it is not likely that you are.
He strokes his stubble briefly. How do you know?
Shrugs. I do not. But well, if you stick with us, the chances of you being cursed are increased exponentially more higher than they would be if you were not with us. I tell you this is a warning, of course, because I am nothing but an honest and forthright man, and I would not wish to send another to their untimely demise.
Well, that's awfully kind of you. But you'll have to forgive me. I tend to be a bit more cautious in my dealings with your folk. I've had some close scrapes in the past, if you understand. But
I understand.
benefit. It's nice to see that I've met a couple folks at least honest enough to not try and rob me immediately first thing on the Everybody will give me a census check before he can finish his thought. I don't really require much. There isn't much in the way of hills, just beat a 10.
I beat it.
I don't know why the fuck I was rolling 2, lol. Rolled D100.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I hella beat it. It's like fucking 16.
Yep, everybody succeeds.
Same.
You can all see what appears to be about a small party of 4 horsemen riding fast on your tail in the distance. Uh,
I'd like to load my gun, please.
yeah, sure, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh,
Maybe.
hell.
Atticus takes out his musket and begins loading it immediately. Uh, whew. Morgan kind of looks between you both. Oh, knew this would happen. Damn,
I
this
should
is what.
at least try and preserve one of their horses, and well, then it will be our horse.
Hmm. Or maybe we can talk our way out of it. That's a lot of them, and they're all mounted. If you miss, we're in trouble.
He nods.
I'd say keep it ready, but don't fire just yet, unless you want to chance it.
I do not.
All right. He looks over at you, your character Spoon. Randall, yeah, just get in the back with Eddie. Keep him nice and warm. Hey. He laughs suggestively, nudging you in the shoulder jokingly.
Can do.
Yep. You basically shuffle yourself into the back of the cart,
I'd
trying
like
to.
to assume the Red Dead 2 cart protecting position of just sitting at the side with my gun.
Yeah, the most optimal of positions, of course.
Yeah,
Okay. Did anybody score over 15? You
I
have
did.
one. Hey, you have 2 characters that did. Spoon, did you?
I also got a 16.
Okay, great. Everybody got over 15. That's great. Okay. In the distance, you can see that each of these men seem to be armed and armored, modestly speaking. Um, one of them possesses armor of a slightly higher caliber, actually, some sort of chain. The others tend to wear lighter armor, and one of them tends to have a bit of a higher tier of lighter armor in Brigandine. 2 of them seem to have crossbows, and 2 of them have throwing weapons. And they, as they begin to close in on the rear of the cart, they begin shouting. To give you an idea, the back of the cart is covered with a tarp. There's some kind of there's some barrels and stuff kind of stuffed back there for show. Morgan would have told you guys before the venture set out that there was really nothing in the barrels. He just uses it on the off chance maybe he stumbles across more than he can carry. He looks between you both. The riders will likely reach you within a minute or 2. Look, Atticus, I don't doubt that you're a shot, but there's still 4 of them. And they have
only
4.
one of them is armored. If I can take him out, the rest would be easy.
Well, they can each fire on us 4 times more than you can fire on them. You only get 1 shot. And even if you kill one of them, that's still 3. And he kind of looks at you. I don't have a shield. Do you have a shield, Debo?
Nope.
Okay.
Doesn't this guy have a fucking rapid fire crossbow?
He has it. It's at his side. Presumably loaded. But, I mean, he still doesn't want to chance it. He looks at your character and goes, all right. We have to make our decision now. They're getting closer. Should we fire on them and take no chances, or try to talk our way out of it? I've only got a few shots left.
It's likely that they are here for the man that we are transporting. What do you imagine the conversation would go like?
Well, that's the thing about this job. You never really know until you're there. You can hear the man in the back suddenly pipe up. Morgan kind of whispers back to you, Randall, keep him quiet.
Yep, Atticus would nod back and say, very well, slow it down and see what they want.
All right. you begin to slow the cart down, or well, Morgan begins to slow the cart down until it's at a stop. The horsemen begin to close distance. Morgan rises from his seat and he goes, "All right, Atticus, let's get ready to fire and tell them to stop."
Yep.
I didn't say we were talking with our weapons down. He kind of winks. He holds up his crossbow, and he expects you to be firing side by side with him if need be.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I'll
I
give
assume
you guys.
it's like a formation or some shit.
I mean, not really, bro. You're like, I'll give you a better idea. So, like, you have your model. I'm gonna
Yep.
use Lyanna to represent Morgan for now until I can get him his own icon. If you faggots don't get him killed. Let's see. So, I mean, this is a very like kind of generous drawing of the cart. This is basically what you're looking at, right? Spoon, you're basically here at the front. I mean, technically, you could squeeze Randall in, and it's not too bad. But I mean, for the purposes of square hex combat, yeah. Spoon, your character is in the back there with the beloved hostage. I will represent with Gerald. The mounted gentlemen that are approaching, presumably to sexually harass the party. Do they have a mounted figurine? Oh, I guess not. Okay, we'll just use these guys. So they're further back than this. So right now they're coming at an angle. So we're just gonna do that. They're each on a tile. They're kind of in a formation, kind of riding all together. The terrain at the moment is mostly flat. It's ideal for shooting and, more importantly, horse riding. So there's very little in the way of hills or brush or anything you can use to conceal yourself, hide, or get away. So a conflict is either going to be greatly in your favor, or should things get really poor, not in your favor. There's really not many places to run.
Understandable.
That being said, it basically sets you guys up fairly well. You and Morgan are basically side by side here. You both kind of sit up from the cart, and you raise your weapons in the direction of the horsemen. The horsemen stop some distance away, also raising their ranged weapons. However, they do not seem to fire on the party. Two of them have weapons whose range is much too short to hit from that distance. The other two would be making a fairly impressive shot as well, although not impossible.
Yeah, I guess we'll let Morgan do the talking because guess this, my charisma is shit.
Well, there's only one way to justifiably improve that area. All
I
right.
don't want to improve it though.
Fuck off, nigger.
Fuck you. Let me be a man in few words. Fuck you.
Fuck your
There
power.
must always be a man in few words.
Oh yeah, Debo, hold on. Time loop. Time loop in the game. Very briefly. Give me a sec. Where's the Google Drive? Fuck's your character sheet, little faggot.
I have intimidate. Does that work?
Well, that's not a social skill. Sorry, Debo. Keck W.
I have persuade.
Persuado?
Yeah, but my charisma stat itself is like 3.
I mean, you can attempt things and not be good at them. Remember that if somebody's not good at charisma, unless you have like specific flaws or fears or phobias, like you might still try it. I know people that have no charisma in real life and they don't stop talking.
Yeah,
So
true. Fair enough.
I mean, like, yeah, it really. I don't know how you play your character. You do your thing, but just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Let's see here.
I'll just see how it fucking rolls out.
Okay. Morgan kind of calls out to the group. All right, no closer or we fire. There ain't forests around here, but bandits are common. What do you want? One of the you can hear one of the mounted horsemen step forward. One of the lightly armored fellows.
Atticus is going to be training his sights on the guy with the fucking big dick armor.
Yep. Okay. You basically train your sights. You're essentially just holding your rifle in their direction. You're not gaining any mechanical bonuses or anything like that because combat hasn't started yet.
Yeah,
but
no, just like in preparation in case it does, wants to just point them at that
yep, one of them kind of shouts out. Uh, We're looking for our lord who went missing recently, Edward Harris. Morgan kind of screams back, "Never heard of him! Keep going down further. Maybe you'll find the right people. We're not it." One of the men kind of canters forward slightly and goes, "Oh, really?
Yeah, really? Atticus yells back.
All right. Then I suppose you don't mind if we search your cart." Morgan kind of yells back, "What are you, guardsmen?" One of the men shouts back at him, "No, but we're under legal contract to be able to secure our patron." Morgan thinks for a second and goes, "Yeah, but does your contract allow you to search and shake down innocent travelers on the road?" You can see the lightly armored fellow kind of step back a bit, and he retreats to his group. It's very obvious that they're exchanging words with each other, trying to figure something out, although at this distance, no check would let you hear that. One of them kind of steps forward, and he basically presents a long sheet of paper, and he yells back at Morgan, "This is our contract! Signed, dated, stamped, and approved by the Merchants Guild of the Accretion Republic to protect, retrieve, by any means necessary, all patrons within willing and lawful payment. We are not thieves or bandits." Morgan kind of looks over at your character. This is complicated. He kind of looks around at the surrounding terrain. "This is why I don't take jobs in Accretia. Damn this flat shithole land."
I hear it.
He thinks for a couple seconds. "Atticus,
Yes.
if their contract is genuine, we could have bounties put on us under suspicion. But if we let them search the cart and they don't find him..." Randall, keep him quiet. You hear
I'm
Morgan
working
say.
on it.
Yep. What do you do, Spoon? Just give me a description.
Well, how
I'm
would
essentially
you...
like double covering his hand because like I'm assuming he's gagged. I'm basically just like putting my hand over his mouth.
Yep. He's just trying to make as much
considers this and then goes, how would you propose that we get him out of here?
Well, that's the problem.
Can we roll tactics to like determine if it would be possible to potentially like ambush these guys when they search the cart?
Without a roll, I can tell you that that's not impossible. It's just
Because okay, like pause for a minute. This is how it fucking goes through my head, right? Like they come over and they're like, "Oh, we gotta search your cart, okay?" And then like two of them, I guess, will walk up and like try and look through it, but then they'll be off their horses and like just fucking digging through this shit and open for a sneak attack, right? So there's two of them down, or at least off their horses, which leaves us to be able to shoot the remaining two guys and then just fucking close in melee and fuck them up.
you have the talent that lets you do tactics. This would be a special.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have the tactics talent on your
I
character
think
sheet?
it's military tactics.
All right, hold on. Let me just double check here.
I gotta check too. Yeah, I don't.
Unusual knowledge magic.
I don't
Usual
think so.
knowledge monster. Political connections. Cordage. Battlefield tactics. Here we
Go. Oh, Battlefield
go.
Tactics. I do have it. Shit.
Land and sea.
I think I picked land, obviously.
Yes. Attack, defend, make. Yep. Okay. Either.
And I guess I
Okay,
would
so,
also
so
be
you
using guerrilla tactics to like fucking try and shoot one and then hide around the cart so I could fucking Batman them. Maybe I don't know.
Okay, so this would be a battlefield tactics check, and what I can tell you, because this would be a specialty situation, is how they're likely going to search the cart is pretty simple. If you had to guess, the most effective way to do it would be as follows: they waltz up, right?
Yep.
They waltz up. The guys with the throwing weapons, keep their weapons in hand. One of the crossbow guys kind of moves up, gets off his horse. The other crossbow guy stays back on the horse as well, keeping his weapon trained on you. The one guy that gets off the horse searches the cart while these three watch you guys. And at that point, it's a gamble. Your character knows that you're basically, for all intents and purposes, outnumbered 2-1. Granted, Randall is there, but you don't know what he's going to be able to do if he has to keep that guy quiet, if you can't find another way to kind of, like, I don't know, somehow conceal him better.
I do remember what Randall did to those fucking wolves, so I figure if we are able to buy him some time to do it, he could fucking do the same thing to these guys, right?
Well, the problem is that Randall's spells typically require line of sight, and he's packed back there with
What's actually in the back? Like, how hard is it to search?
There's a collection of 4 barrels, varying degrees of crates, a couple crab traps, some fishing nets, just random miscellaneous junk, and it's typically kind of splayed along the cart or secured in such a way that it just takes up space and generally blocks line of sight along with the barrels themselves. Randall could get into a position with some effort where he could cast his spells. The issue isn't really whether or not he can do that. The issue is he going to get shot the second he's within line of sight? Because if he can see them,
they can see him, yeah.
There's a chance that they might see him popping out of nowhere. And even if they don't know he's a mage, somebody suddenly popping up out of nowhere when you're ready with your trigger finger, well, you know how that might go. That's one situation. That is likely how they're going to try and search your cart, because that's the most effective and optimal way. That's how you do it. Because 3 people are covering one guy. If you guys get a bright idea, or if they suspect that you're going to pop off, there's 3 of them. Even if you kill 2 of them, 2 of them will be able to shoot you.
It might be a fight, though, is the thing. Like, I'm just trying to optimize the fucking... Because, like, it doesn't seem like they're going to be fucking persuaded against it outright by searching the cart. So unless Randall can fucking pull some sauce and hide that dude effectively... kind of fucked, Jenny.
Okay. What I would do is I'd give you and Spoon a moment to kind of plan something, and then just kind of ask me if it's possible based on your situation, or if you need more environmental.
Just like pulling a Lamaui, hide him out the front, and fucking skedaddle him on away, but like it's all plains. They fucking see
like
it.
we're there, and it's not like these aren't verdant plains, so there isn't like grass you can kind of shuffle through or hide shit in. It's like kind of dry.
That's fucking shitty Alberta plains,
Yeah,
bro.
Alberta
I live
plains.
here, dude.
Yep, Alberta plains. You get it. I've been there.
I literally live here. It's fucking. You can see for miles. Like there's no way to hide. It's fucking gay.
Yep, that's right. In BC though,
there's occasional like trees and bushes and shit, but it's just like, yeah, they're in the one fucking cluster of bushes in this whole prairie, bro. Like,
it's the closer you get to us.
Yeah.
Yep. We're in bandit territory. You're in fucking sadness territory.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Spoon? Spoon's dead.
My character would look at you while basically trying to hold him down. It's like, maybe I could try talking to them.
And say what?
I used to work for Hanston Kirk. Maybe his name holds weight over here.
Atticus just like pinches his fucking Bridger's nose, like, oh my god. Well, Randall, if you wish to potentially sacrifice your life on the gamble of this hand's Dunkirk, I will not stop you. Otherwise, we will need to find a plan that
Brian, I would like to do
results in
a
all of
legal
those men
knowledge.
being dead.
Brian, I would like to do a legal knowledge check to see if Hans Dunkirk name would have like any weight within this scenario.
Sure, go ahead, Spoon.
Yeah, Atticus is like, yeah, bro, you can fucking try, but like, I don't know him, so
All right. Well, no, Spoon. Legal knowledge is an unusual knowledge. Do you have it on your sheet? I'm gonna check real quick.
What?
Well, yeah. Remember, it's no longer a skill. If you have it as a skill, or wait, is it a skill still?
yeah.
Oh, it is. Never mind. I'm fucking baked. I was thinking of Sorry, I was reading your unusual knowledge thing, and I thought you had it for that. So never mind. You rolled legal knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay, what'd you get?
10.
10. Good enough. Based on what you can remember, I'm also going to give you a +2 circumstantial bonus because you've spent a reasonable amount of time here, so I'll give you 12. Yeah. You remember that, as far as you were able to dig up, Hans Dunkirk, the Lord of Lakeshore, he basically has ownership and rule over Drime, Sten, Willenheim, and Ribon. However, Kovenal, Ushtin, Xanthias, Aldrich, and Shifka all fall under Cronenberg, which is an entirely different assigned lord. More importantly, Hans Dunkirk doesn't really own the land so much as he's just appointed by the council to supervise it, much like the Lord of Cronenberg as well. There are two essentially appointed lords, and the real powers are the merchants. However, that being said, in their stead, it would be Hans Dunkirk, and sadly, you are just south of his influence. So this particular area would fall under Cronenberg. If you were headed north to Drime, then you'd fall under Hans Dunkirk's purview, as it were. However, without their contract in your hands that you can actively read and kind of confirm, you're not really... Actually, you know what? No, I'll give it to you. With your role, I will also tell you that legally, unlike the Imperium, mercenaries, bounty hunters, and vigilante types are afforded a bit more freedom to do their work. The contracts between merchants and these particular servicemen, as it were, are legally binding, and so long as the signatures of both parties are present, and it is stamped by a lord local to the area or fortress, village, etc., city, then the contract is essentially binding under the conditions. So if what they're saying is true, and this is a legit contract, if for whatever reason they think or believe that for some reason the Lord may be nearby being held captive or otherwise, and they request a reasonable search, you need to acquiesce. The only time that that's not applicable is if they begin to essentially overstep their bounds. And at that point, we get into semantics and circumstantial things and so on and so forth. TLDR, in a perfect world where you're close to guardsmen in the city that can actively enforce these things, everything I said is true and generally upheld. The further you get from towns and cities, well, you know how people tend to get when there's nobody that can kind of actively enforce the law, right? They may get buck. They may try something. That is the knowledge I will give you. They're not approaching at the moment, so you and Debo and Morgan have time to plan. So exchange whatever stuff you guys want in character, out of character at the moment while you have time. Your life speed?
Well, shit,
gotcha.
that kind of deflates my sales. I got nothing so far.
Okay.
Yeah, Atticus's only plan is like the one I talked about earlier, unless you just start shooting at them now and like make sure they have a ranged battle to do.
Okay. Yeah. Bear in mind that
That's what he explains to Morgan. Like, he tells him what his plan is with his fucking battlefield tactics or whatever.
yeah, Morgan basically looks at you and he grits his teeth for a second or so, and then he kind of looks at them. Well, they ain't moving forward since we got our weapons trained on them. But that's not what I'm worried about. I don't think they're going to attack us. But I think they're suspicious. You have to remember, most of the travelers on this road are farmers, vagabonds, people that aren't as armed as we are. And the rare patrol, but we obviously aren't guards here, you see. So I'm wondering if they get back, if they have cause to put a bounty on us, as it were, for not allowing them to search our belongings.
The alternative is letting them search, having them approach, panic, and do the same thing. So, my line of thought is we ensure that they do not report back.
So even if they don't approach, you just want to kill them?
We can give them the chance to back away, and if they insist upon searching the cart, yes.
Okay. All right. Morgan kind of looks at you, and then he kind of peeks into the cart and looks at Randall. All right. Well, you have the upper hand here, Atticus. You can go ahead and try and scare him away if you want. Yeah, basically roll intimidate low and say something scary or make a threat or TLDR, give them a reason to want to fuck off. Because right now you're in a standoff.
Yep, Atticus will shout something. Fuck, I don't even know, man.
Oh. You need some time. Take it.
Yeah, give me a sec.
Yep.
Who did they say they were working for?
Edward Harris. That's the merchant that you guys have on you at the moment. They are dressed very similarly to the mercenary crew that you had basically bamboozled back at the headquarters of this particular man. Any of you guys have uncommon sense?
No.
Are either of you willing to take a risk on social skills if you let them get closer?
Yeah, uncommon sense.
You have uncommon sense, do you?
That's the one that just says bad times await, right? It's the DM metagame perk. I don't have it.
Yeah, pretty much once per arc you can ask the DM a question and they have to basically answer. They have to answer truthfully if it's the one I remember.
Wait, Atticus has that?
No, I don't. Duhigg has that.
That's why I asked him. I don't think he has it. I think you have to take it at character creation unless I'm crazy. Hold on here. Let me double check. Got doc open, so let's see. Uncommon sense. Yeah, character creation only. So Duhigg might have had it. Duhigg always took that, but for some reason never used it. I don't know why. So basically wasted 3 talent points. Which, I mean, love Duhigg, but burgers are OP. Yeah, I can't really help you guys without that. I know that based on what I see on your character sheets, there's definitely other ways you could do this, but I can't give it to you for free. Any skills that you want to roll or try?
I'm just gonna play my character, dude. I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Great character.
I mean, I definitely have a skill that can potentially get us out of this, but I can't think of anything to say in this scenario that wouldn't be like, okay, I would like to roll persuade. Spoon, that's bullshitting. Okay, so I want you to roll bluff, or I want you to roll intimidate, or I want you to roll fucking performance, for God's sake.
I mean, you can always swing things in such a way that it doesn't fall under another skill category. You might have to grease some palms because of the situation you're in, but that doesn't mean you're just going to fail automatically because you don't have the right thing.
Okay, Atticus is probably going to just try to intimidate because I don't have social skills, and
What do you do and what do you say?
He'll have his gun trained on the armored man, pretty much ready, the heavy armored man.
Okay.
And he'll say something like, "Is this Edward Harris paying you enough to guarantee one of your deaths? We don't have this man run our own business on behalf of the Imperium, and yeah, would you risk just like fucking with our bosses to appease your own, essentially?"
Repeat what you said just one more time because you cut out a little bit about halfway through.
The TLDR of it is like, are you really gonna fucking mess around and find out when we can, like, for 100% sure guarantee that one of you isn't gonna walk away? We don't have this man run our own business on behalf of the Imperium, and is it really worth it on behalf of your lord to waste time harassing us when the true culprits could still be at large?
All right, Debo, give me an intimidate check.
Yep.
These men recognize what you're pointing at them, so I'm going to give you +5.
Oh, nice 10.
Yep.
Oh well.
Still a +1.
I'll give them like a +2 for the
It's
sake
like
of a
15 plus whatever bonus you're giving me.
+5. So what are you at?
20.
Cool. I'm going to give them a +2 because they seem to think they outnumber you, but for the most part, they're not getting too much from that. Yeah. You see one of the men kind of at the front, one of the lightly armored fellows, lower his crossbow and kind of shift his horse around and walk up to the fellow in more significant gear. They begin to exchange words again. A minute or so passes, and one of them rides forward. "We're sorry to have bothered you. We're just doing our job."
Yep, to that Atticus would yell back, "I understand."
Yep. One of the men basically reins the horse in, and they essentially turn around and begin to skedaddle off into the distance.
Yep, Atticus lowers back down and just fucking exhales. Oh my fucking god. It's always something around here, sigh.
Morgan kind of lets the crossbow fall at his side, and he kind of leans back in his seat, plopping to the rough platform. Oh, good job, Atticus. And he kind of looks in, and you too, Randall. You kept him quiet.
My character looks at him and shrugs.
Yeah, swell.
Let's starts peeking over the barrels to see if they've actually gone.
Yep. You peek over the barrels and you can see them getting further and further away. Yeah.
That should handle things for now, but
What situation?
what do you intend to do about the bridge?
Morgan kind of gives a bit of a laugh. Oh, right, the bridge. Well, usually if you give them some incentive to be lax on their search, they don't tend to raise any questions. The closer you get to Willenheim and Ushton, the more mercantile they become, if you catch my drift. He does the universal symbol for money/bribery.
Yes, Atticus would nod and say, yes, I've noticed that being a trend around these parts.
One of his one of his gold teeth sparkles briefly as he gives you a bit of a grin. Oh, don't worry. It's the same where you're from, too. They're just less liberal about it. He begins to usher the draft horse forward, and as before, he kind of fumbles with his pipe a bit until he realizes, Atticus, can you take this?
Yep.
He hands your character the reins.
Takes them.
Yeah, you don't need crazy. Like, you just need to hold it straight.
Yep. You,
Yep.
you do. Yep.
Cool. Yep. They continue along the road, kind of within, I'd say within 4 to 5 hours of quiet, slow-paced traveling, you begin to happen upon the cliffs east of Covenal, high and wide, uh, leading up to an area of note, as you can tell by Morgan's kind of roughly sketched map that he occasionally goes over. I'm guessing you get back into the front spoon, or do you wish to keep Mr. Harris warm?
I'll get back into the front.
Okay. No gay shit. Minus 1,000 XP. Okay.
Yeah,
You-
Atticus is doing what he do.
You get back in the front, and Morgan, kind of out of nowhere, sort of brings up the topic again. So, how did you end up in this situation? Imperial soldier to blade for hire to cursed man on a doomed mission. This is the kind of thing you read about in one of those expensive books.
Atticus just sort of looks at him, looks back at the road, and shrugs.
He kind of laughs a bit. He makes a move to kind of pat you on the shoulder.
Yep.
All right, yeah, he pats you on the shoulder, kind of not roughly, but not aggressively or angrily. Atticus, you Imperials, you're the spitting image. You take life too seriously. You're always angry and just looking upset. And I get it. You're in a bad place. You're in a worse place than any man I've ever met. But you don't have to show it. Just live life happily. I mean, I'm sure your life will take you back to the same place you came from anyway, like the rest of us. Fell out of your mum, out of blackness, and you'll return to it. That's how I look at it. So it doesn't matter how bad things are. You get to a better place when you die. And we're all gonna die. That goes for you too, Randall.
Such a
Don't I know
joy.
it?
What's that, man?
My character coughs twice. Don't I know it?
Wait, I just realized. Oh, and wait, no, Sleepy's character was named Morgaine. I was going to be like, wait, do we have two fucking characters?
This is Morgan. Sleepy's character was more gay.
Nah.
Morgaine, Gerard and Gerald. Morgaine and Morgan.
Yep.
The fucking uncreative fig.
Yeah, we're pretty shit. Well, actually, no. I take that back. I'm super creative. Y'all niggas gay.
No,
All right. He continues to pry a little bit. Look, Atticus, I get it. You're an Imperial soldier. You're serious, reserved, and you only speak when you're spoken to or when you need to. All right, fine. What about you, Randall?
Yeah. I was actually pretty popular in the last two towns. Can't say many people particularly hated my guts after the first week. Even had a girl I was sweet on, but she was...
What was wrong with her? Did she have the? He kind of points to his nether region and makes a bit of a face.
Yeah, she was sweet on one of the guards. Well, the guards that disappeared, and... Was it Kovenal?
No, Drime.
Drime, right. One of the ones that disappeared in Drime, and, well... Taking another man's wife as, she's mourning his loss is... It leaves a bad taste in the mouth.
Morgan kind of quirks her brow at you as if you just introduced him to a foreign concept. Wait. You're telling me that the only thing that stopped you from getting a woman that you wanted was another man she happened to be married to?
That wasn't the only thing.
Oh, so she did have the... He kind of points to his nether region.
What, the cock?
No. What? He kind of squints further at you, like, Randall.
I'm assuming
What
he's talking
sort-
about crabs.
Yeah, no, did you say cock?
Yeah,
Fuck you. We're keeping that in. He kind of looks
I
at you
know.
a
I
bit
said that. My
strange.
character said that
Yeah,
intentionally.
he looks at you a bit strange and squints, and then goes, "Look, Randall, I don't know what sort of brothels you've been visiting where you're from, but where we're from, uh,
My
that's
character
that's
gives
a
a
bit too
very
exotic
shit-eating
for us."
grin.
Yep, Atticus
Ah,
just keeps a fucking straight, angry face and just like keeps driving the cart.
yeah. Morgan laughs with your character once he realizes you kind of pulled one over on him. Ah, I see. Funny, funny. Well, you wouldn't find it so funny if you'd ever been to the South. They take that business a bit more seriously than we do here in the North.
Mm.
But that's beside the point. So you were popular. You found a girl. Wow, Randall, seems like you had your life ready. To have a nice little farm and be a victim for every man that passed you by on a trail with a bow or a sword.
Yeah, likely not the farm. Likely would have done butchery work for the local swine herds.
Ah, butcher. Respectable. Met a lot of good men in my life. A lot of them were butchers. Honest trade. Don't know what it is about them, but they enjoy their work. But wait, you said you drew pictures.
I do both.
Hmm. Huh. What else do you do, Randall? Man of many talents.
Well, I have a tertiary talent, but I'm hesitant to tell about it until after we've dropped our friend off here.
Right. Well, that's on you then. Uh, as for Mr. Harris, well, uh, I think it's safe to say at this point, anybody that takes him in recognizes that he'd say anything to get set free. But who knows? Since we're traveling with our dear friend Atticus, his bad luck could be following us, and maybe you're right. I'd rather not take that risk if where we're at is any symbol of where we could go. But,
Oh no, bad luck is hardly a factor, but he still has a working mouth, and I'd rather him not tell. Whether or
well,
not someone believes him.
that's fair. Well, I mean, you told me your details. I suppose I could tell you a bit about myself. Eh, I'm not from here, but you could probably tell. Uh, have you heard of the Levant Plains?
Have I?
Do any of you guys have hold on here.
I'm
Opening
assuming
it up.
navigate.
Uh I would say navigate or local knowledge. Actually local knowledge specific to Farcrath.
Nope.
Okay.
I don't have local knowledge. I have navigate though.
Okay. Yeah, give me a roll. I would call for a 15. What do you get?
Uh, 16.
16? Yeah, you would know that the Great Plains of Luvant are pretty much in Farcrath. So wherever he's from, if what he's telling you is the truth, is he's from there somewhere. He
Hmm.
continues. He continues. Yeah, we're from Anise. Well, I'm from Anise, which is town along the coast of Lake of Wa. Uh, if you're wondering why I don't talk like an idiot, that's a night thing. The rest of us, uh, we don't have the coin or the silver spooned upbringing to afford what they get. That's a little bit different. But what I can tell you is if I was there, I'd be plowing a field like Randall here with his little wife. And farming's good in Farcrath, but oh, life is hard there.
My character
Harder than
thinks about
here.
it for a little bit, like an idiot. Wait, Atticus.
Randall.
I can't imagine what Geralt was going through was particularly normal.
Kind of looks over. He kind of looks over at you. Huh. It's a strange name for an accretion.
He's from Farcraft as well.
Was that right? Uh,
He calls
was his last
himself Gerald de Ravine.
of Ravane, House Ravane,
That is what he claimed.
near Enguerrand and Gaston, the minor house.
Yes.
He seems a bit exasperated.
He had armor and a warhorse.
He he almost drops his pipe for a second before catching it and bringing it back to his lips for a calm toke. So, you had some noble fop traveling with you
Yes, he was a good lad.
from House Ravane in Enguerrand, close to Gaston.
Yes, he was not the brightest sort, so I've
His,
never heard of it until now.
His head was as soft as his heart. Let's say that.
Ah, he seems to relax a bit. Ah, he's an idiot. Right.
Aye.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the noble affairs, but,
He said that his father cast him out and told him that he must fulfill some manner of knight's quest in search of something.
yeah. I speak fluent noble. What is it? Don't disgrace our name, go far away and die where I won't hear of you. Something like that. It's rough, but that's the gist of it.
I see.
It's like I said, I could be wrong. Maybe his father's mad or crazy, but I saw the odd noble in my time, and well, if they were in places they shouldn't have been, far from the luxury of their house and everything that comes with it, there's a reason.
That does seem to line up with his father's rather temperamental language when he was describing his quest.
All right. Humor me. What was his quest? You've got my attention. I'm always
Go
willing
out
to hear
and
noble
bring
country.
something that would bring honor to our name. I believe that was the end and long of it.
Oh, well, that's awfully thoughtful. He sent him off to die real good. Didn't even give him anything to look for.
That was one of his queries, yes.
What did he do?
So far as I can surmise, the only thing that I know that he's done is kill his birth mother.
What? Oh. Strangling? Stabbing? Poison?
Being born.
Oh. Oh. You see kind of a... you can almost see like a bit of pity kind of wash across Morgan's face. The crime of being unlucky. He looks over at Atticus. It's killed a lot of good men. It's hard to get out of. They say once you start, that's how it ends. Huh. Well, good luck to him. Where is he now?
He is currently sitting in an apothecary dealing with an infection dealt by, what are they, blood mites?
Blood mites. Thinks about it for a second. Blood mites.
Wretched tiny creatures that caused buboes to appear all over his skin.
Heard of them. We had a plague some 20 years back in Farcrath. I was a boy at the time. We didn't know that it had got all the way over here, but it's what I'm thinking. Killed a lot of good folks. And then it stopped. We don't know what changed, but that's a nasty one to get. The apothecaries, those of us that could afford them, said that how did they put it? These things change, and then they tried to explain how they had this idea that if you got this blood mite sickness here, it was different from the one that you got here, and it's too complicated for me. I say if you can't shoot it, well, let the gods take you on your way, or save you, should they decide that be the case. It's a shame he's an idiot. If he was a runaway, and if his father wanted him back, we could have carted him back there for a tidy sum. You save a noble's child, and, well, where I'm from, that could get you in some good places. You won't get any titles or anything fancy, but you'll have enough to live off of for some time. Damn.
Or mayhap we could have, my character is like entering a jovial tone, or perhaps we could have had him slay Atticus's new hanger-on, and then he could have returned to home a hero.
You hear Edward Harris in the back. Oh, come on, Eddie. We've grown too attached to you. We wouldn't let an idiot kill you.
What, did you think I was talking about him?
Morgan kind of looks between you both, and then his gaze settles on your character, Spoon. I mean, we have to include him in some things. I'm beginning to like him. In fact, I might pay for him and drag him with us. You can hear kind of a defeated moan in the back. Oh. Who were you referencing then, Randall?
Does my character, Debo, does my character know, like, where you've kept your little portrait of Malleus Bale?
Nope. I don't think so.
You told him about Malleus Bale, right?
Yeah, but he gave the portrait to LaPonce.
Yeah,
He
he gave the entirety of the documents he found in the castle, along with some of his own and your own sketches and works to LaPonce.
Oh, well, my character doesn't know that shit. So, my character's gonna motion to use, like, the paper.
Shakes his head.
Oh.
It was given to the captain of the guard back in, insert last city name here.
Oh, my character squints. Wait, why?
He requested it, and, well, I saw no reason to withhold him. We will not be back here for some time, and perhaps he will use it to, well, investigate further.
Right.
I drew a sketch of the critter that Atticus and I are currently having a problem with.
You say critter. What are we dealing with?
That's the problem. We don't particularly know, but we don't like it.
Kind of looks between you both. Mutant? Killed a
Worse.
couple in my time. Worse. Oh. Orc? He looks
I'll cut to the chase. We believe it to be a creature from the dark.
He looks at you blankly. I don't know what that means, Randall.
My character thumbs his finger through the air a couple times as he's like trying to search for different terms. As a character with like magical knowledge, would I know of like essentially the other like terms for hell or the dark afterlife?
Unfortunately, to people that don't have the knowledge you guys have, a lot of this sounds really mythologized. You're starting to get into terms like spirit, malevolent spirit, ghost, hellish creature. Like, you're starting to get into fairy tale zones for most people.
Okay, I'm assuming that at one point Atticus would have called a demon or something.
Yeah, that'll work. Like, the dark is basically, or a dark denizen is like what people that are actually educated would call it, but demons tend to be the mythologized title. So yeah, you could say demon. He might kind of have a good idea.
A demon.
Oh, like a... Was it real?
Real enough that I got a very good description of it, and I could actually sketch it again, but I don't think you would want to look at it.
It's on paper, isn't it? He looks between you both. Both of you act really strange whenever this part comes up. You never had a problem talking about some witch, I cursed you both. But this is where people start getting quiet. He looks between
Yes,
both.
well, suffice it to say, I on some level know how the sorcerer's people work. I don't know how demons work. And I know for a fact they do not do things in any normal way.
Well, I was getting quite tired of the predictability of my job, so I'm glad I ran into you both. Looks like I still have a lot to learn. As for your idiot, you said you left him where?
I believe we left him in Drime? No, we left him in
You did.
Kovenol.
No, you left him in Dry. Did
Wasn't
you? Actually, no. Yeah, you were going to Covenant. Yeah, you left him in Covenant. No, you're right.
the Kovenol apothecary?
Did you pay off his care fee?
My character kind of rubs two fingers on his brows like, I didn't exactly have the 5 crowns on me at the time, no.
Oh. Huh. Even if I was to lend you some of my own currency, as it were, it wouldn't be enough. Wait a minute. Morgan kind of gives your character a look up and down, and his eyes fall on that exquisitely crafted sword of yours, Debo. Hey, you said he was a friend of yours, right?
Nods.
Why don't you just sell that? Looks like it'd fetch a good price. Maybe pay for his treatment.
We do not know how long he will be indisposed of. In the meanwhile, it has been decided that we will pursue our quarry, complete the job, and return with the payment.
And
He
in the event we
explains.
don't return in the first place, well, it's kind of distasteful, but the lad, if he lives, can always sell his horse.
Morgan blinks a couple times. He saddles up a little bit closer to Atticus, and then he begins to take another drag from his pipe, blowing smoke off to the left as he makes firm eye contact. Atticus,
Yes.
let me get this straight. You want to go, apprehend this child, deal with this dangerous swordsman. Take a ship back to Constantia. Turn the child over to whoever. Some big shot commander. Get your payment, whatever that is. And let's just say that's even close to what you need to treat him for as long as he needs to be treated. Then you want to sail back here. And even if we said you had the money, you were going to go all the way back to Drime, thinking that he would still be there. And you're going to offer to pay his fee. Really? He kind of looks at you a bit. All you had to say was you wanted to keep the weapon, Atticus. Gods. He takes another puff. You just thinking, Debo, or do you want to say something?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't really have very much to say.
Okay. He kind of shrugs. Silence then. All right. Understandable. Well, let's just see where we can go. And let's hope that you know how to make use of that blade. Otherwise, the money spent won't be helping anybody. All right, let's see. So, on the map here. He starts talking to himself and going over the map and trying to find a bit less of a perilous route on the way, since he has a couple points of note marked off. There's a small mining village nearby, but it seems as though the danger is much further ahead. Close to the toll bridge, but off by a reasonable distance. One of the few small stretches of forest that these plains, or these dry plains, tend to have. Evening begins to encroach upon your party,
I would
and
like to roll
Morgan has
senses.
yeah. For what? Sure, go ahead.
Just
What do you?
basically remaining alert on the journey.
Sure.
14.
Yeah. Okay. You have a 14 then. If that becomes applicable, I will let you know. All right.
I'm just kind of used to X's system where it's like, well, have you rolled your fucking spot check for the scene? Well, someone's doing shady shit. You're probably not fucking paying attention, are you? Unless he
Yeah,
like
I mean,
specifically dictates that something stupid is happening.
I usually call for it because, like, making you guys constantly have to say, "Okay, Brian, I make this check. Okay, I want to make this check too, and I want to make this check, and I want to make this check." That's like, that takes way too much time. Because then you're gonna want to make every fucking possible check to make sure that you're not just having bad shit happen to you because you didn't specifically ask for, like, the one right check, you know? Usually I'll ask. But, I mean, you can roll ahead of time if you want. Just let me know what you're rolling. Okay. Yeah, evening's approaching, encroaching upon the party. Morgan has since kind of dozed off, fallen asleep in the cart. Both you and Atticus can hear Harris in the back.
My character leans back. What is it?
He kind of like tries to motion with his like tied up hands, like pointing sort of to the gag.
I can't understand the bound and gagged.
He kind of like scrapes the gag and the ball against the side of the cart, trying to signal something.
My character looks around the cart as if as if this random guy has managed to spot something that he couldn't while sitting in the cart.
I mean, you can't see anything. It's not so dark that you wouldn't be able to see. And more importantly, on the terrain you're at, granted you're up on cliffs, it's still flat up here, relatively speaking. There's only a couple a couple edges and additional kind of slopes and bumps.
I mean, sure, but basically, my character's
Yeah,
half
I get it.
mocking this guy. He's just like, what? Do you see something, Lassie? What is it? Looks left, looks right, looks behind the cart. If Atticus wants to talk to him, that's his
Yeah,
prerogative.
Debo. I mean, you feel free to respond. He's like trying to get your attention.
What is, sorry?
The Harris, the merchant in the back, he's trying to get your guys' attention. He's making a bunch of like signs and signals to like try and communicate something to you. Recall. Everybody can make a recall check if you want. Morgan has currently kind of dozed off on
I
the
mean, I'm
journey.
assuming this recall check is effectively like he'll try and make any deal you can to fucking get out of this.
12, cool.
Or
Just beat a 10.
or whatever, yeah, 16, something like that.
Okay, Spoon, what did you get if you rolled it?
The fuck is my recall?
I don't. See.
Let's see,
Open
18.
up your recall's 18. Yeah. Okay. Both of you succeed. Maybe take the rag off.
Oh no, my character doesn't give a shit about what this guy has to say. He's just
Debo, what does your character do?
Nothing. He just closes the shutter on him and tells him to shut up.
the shutter in the cart. Yeah,
It's like a fucking basic farmer's cart.
Whatever, bro.
Devo's like, fuck this. I'm upgrading this shit. We live in large, boys.
All right. On the off chance that he's actually trying to alert us that some stupid thing is snuck into the cart, I'm gonna go look around in the cart, just ignoring him.
I mean, you give it a good look. You're fairly thorough. If something had snuck in, unless it was incredibly small, you'd have seen it. So, obviously, he's just trying to get your attention, and you know that he just wants to talk. It's pretty fucking obvious. You'd have to be Geralt levels of stupid to miss this.
My character taps or raps Atticus on the shoulder. Do you care?
What's he trying to warn us about?
Well, he seems like he's trying to communicate with you, like he wants to say something, but obviously he can't because he's bound and gagged. So, I mean, if you give him an opportunity,
No, Atticus doesn't give a fuck. Doesn't
in
want to
your
talk to this goof.
sure, in this current situation, I mean, based on the fact that you can't see anything around you for some distance, and it's relatively safe territory, at least according to what Morgan told you prior, plus what he had marked on his map. Even if this guy started screaming at full volume, it's safe to say that like you'd probably be good. But that's if you allow him to, like, function.
My character thinks about it for a sec, looks up to like the top left of his eyes as he's briefly considering it, and then just like gives a dismissive hand wave, and then continues looking forward in the cart.
You can hear the man becoming increasingly desperate. This continues for some time. He falls silent for a few minutes until starting up again. He's incredibly persistent. He's really trying to get your attention. But if you just ignore him the entire way, then you'll just be met with a very noisy cart.
Yeah, I guess I'll just stop and go back, check what he's fucking yelling about. And if it's nothing, I'm just gonna punch him.
Okay. You kind of bring the cart to a halt. Morgan kind of lightly snoring in the front, kind of step down. You go and kind of examine the rear of the cart. You look around it. I mean, there's nothing here but him and, well, the supplies in the back and some of the barrels and crab traps, fish nets, Morgan's general, like, living implements. You want to sock him one?
Oh, what's that, sorry?
You want to sock him?
What's he doing? Like, is he still making noise when
He's
Atticus
making
is...
noise. He's moving. He's like he's trying to motion to you, but again, he's limited because of how he's tied up and gagged. So
Sure. Atticus will pull the gag down and say, "What? What is it?"
look,
No, shh, no. Listen, if I don't like what you have to say, I'm going to hit you very, very hard. You understand?
I'm willing to take the risk.
Then speak. What?
How much is he paying you? Wait! Don't hit me. Everything I say, I can give you whatever you want. I have money. I have gold, but I can't access it like this. I don't know what he's paying you, but look, I pay men like you very well. You just need to give me a chance.
Yes, and how is that working out for you?
Well,
And then he just punches him in the face and fucking puts it back on.
okay, yeah. Before he can answer, you wrap your knuckles across his cheek. Do you want to give how many? Do you just want to hit him once, or do you just want a power trip?
I'm just gonna fucking like give him a sock to the jaw. Like, shut the fuck up.
All right, you sock him in the face. You hear kind of a small crack. You put the gag back on his mouth, and you can just kind of hear him groaning in the back. Eventually, Morgan kind of stirs from his sleep, and he looks over at you, still guiding the cart. Oh, well, I'll take those from you.
Yep, Atticus takes it over and he says, "Well, at the very least, our passenger will be quieter."
Did Randall quiet him up?
My character points to Atticus.
Yeah, that makes a bit more sense now, doesn't it? Oh. All right. Well, say anything, try anything.
He said he could pay more than you could, but what do we care?
Well, that's not difficult to do. I'm not paying either of you. I just said I would help Atticus in return. So he's not lying. That is, if he has anything left when Aldrich gets done with him. I don't think he's going to have much of that fortune once we get there. He's in for quite a bit. He owes the Ribbon trading post. He owes Xanthias. He owes Shifka. Aldrich proper. A couple merchants from Willenheim. There's a lot of angry folks after this man.
And he's
That's
only
why
worth 2 crowns?
that's 2 gold. That's more than most people make. Plus, he's a merchant. He's relatively easy to apprehend. Needless to say, he defrauded a fair number of folks, and, well, he would be worth a lot more had he succeeded, but, well, they eventually caught up to him. And, well, now I'm here. He, scurried away from Aldrich, knowing full well that, once he passed one of the Lord's, purviews, as it were, and fell into the other, things would get more complicated. That's where folks like myself come in real handy. But what I will tell you is if he does have anything, well, if they don't sell off all of his belongings, we might be able to sweeten the deal, as it were. You have to remember, he's worth 2 crowns alive. Any idiot can bring a man in dead. That's simple. Alive, though, willing to talk. That's where your real money's at.
My character gives a playful wince. Ooh, feeling. After the beating that Atticus gave him, I don't think he's going to be very happy about talking.
Well, it's safe to say that where he's going now isn't going to be too much better than where we'd put him if we didn't like what he said. See, there's lots of laws in these places. Atticus and you know very well what happens when you break the law, but you get far enough from a city, well, what guards are going to save you out in the woods, close to a river, in a mountain, in an open field? These things are flexible. Besides, I tend to stick to places that value folks that have my set of talents. In your Imperium, if you're not part of one of their groups, things tend to get difficult. But what I will say is they pay the best if you're willing to journey to the Wildlands. If you return. I've only made 1 trip out there, and what I can tell you is I'd bring a lot more men the second time round. But, well, you see this? He kind of motions to the cart, he motions to some of his belongings, he motions to his crossbow, he motions to everything he has on him. That was from a Wildlands contract on Imperial gold. So everything I have with me, well, that was from that contract. Maintaining it was everything else. That was the easy part. But there's more up there. I just don't have men with me. But now that I have you and Atticus here, and once we finish wrapping up your business, we might be able to negotiate where we're going from there. I can't imagine either of you are tired of making any sort of money, especially since you have a friend that direly needs your assistance. Even if some things are valued more than him.
I would not be opposed to making a amount of coin. Assuage my ignorance, Morgan.
If I can.
You said the place that we would put him if we didn't particularly care for him. Assuage my confusion. Would that be the brothel with the women with cocks or under the ground? Because either way, he'd be getting boned.
I'd say one after the other. Really drives the point home.
That is fair.
But I'd save a fate like that for worse men. He's detestable, to be sure, but
Also fair.
he's harmless. Well, All right. Yeah, I'm
Next
going
time in the
to.
adventures of shit talking with the boys on a cart.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of talking. I'm going to roll here. Okay, cool. All right. Morgan eventually stops the cart as evening approaches, close to a bit more of a weathered cobble path that leads north, and there's another one that continues on further east. You're starting to encroach upon one of the wow, shit myself. One of the few small outcroppings of forest that the dry plains of Acretia has. He kind of he halts the cart and looks between you both. Well, we can stop in the mining village for the night or continue on, but Randall would have to take a watch.
I'm not opposed to a watch.
Right.
Continuing on would be for the best to place some further distance between the men looking for him and us, of course.
Atticus and Randall, I'm gonna be as honest with you as I can. The reason why I decided to take this path over the other one from Drime, the safer path. And you wouldn't hold it against me if I told you there may be another opportunity to make some coin, would you?
No.
No, I practically expected of you.
Okay, all right. So we're of the same mind. That's good. Okay. So, you see those woods further beyond over the cliffs? Well, they're getting difficult to see now, but you saw them earlier. Past these woods.
Yeah, he nods, assuming he did, yeah.
Right. So, there's rumored to be well, here. I can show you better than I can explain it. He reaches in his pouch and he begins furling around with some documents. He quickly switches between them as if trying to find one that's recognizable up until he stops, picks one out, and unfurls it. Right, here we go. He kind of shows the contract to you and to Randall, and as night had begun approaching, he lit the lantern on the side of the cart to allow you guys to see better at night. So, looking at the contract and having it illuminated by the lantern, you see that there's a fairly reasonable bounty set up for some local brigands that seem to frequent those woods near the toll bridge. They tend to intercept travelers on the way, particularly along the path west of Ushin, coming up through the cliffs and through the mining town and into Kovanal. It says that each man brought in will basically give each of you a total of 35 silver. Fairly high. There are no real descriptors of a lot of them. They tend to be given fairly generic. Well, they tend to be given fairly generic descriptors. Things that blend in: hoods, cloaks, mixture of weaponry, skilled in hit and run, numbers unknown, but generally a menace in this area. The local guards for Drime, Kovanal, and Ushin have done their best to kind of cut down on the banditry along the roads, but pressed as they are with other issues in their locales and then some, they've been unsuccessful at completely stemming the tide, leaving this work open for those that have the proper, have the will, licensing, and, well, the will. What do you say? It might take us a bit longer to reach your fellow, but we could make some coin, and I can't imagine it wouldn't be anything we couldn't handle, especially if we go in with a plan.
My character thinks for a bit. Brian,
Yeah.
Crumbs of Fate, upgrade or not, is reliant on, like, me knowing the name of a person, place, or thing, is it not?
Yeah, you need to know what you're going for. So, for example, you can't go Crumbs of Fate Bandits lol, because that's not like that can't work. Could you imagine like how that would work if it did? Literally just like a giant explosion
And
of color in every direction. Like,
and I'm
yeah.
assuming that I can't just like say like, all right, I'm going to Crumbs of Fate, like the campfire used by the bandits near this toll bridge or something stupid like that.
Well, you'd have to know that TLDR, I'm going to say no. You would need more specifics.
Yep.
You have to know what you're going for, generally speaking. Because if you say something like a campfire used by bandits, I mean, how many campfires used by bandits are you going to get? And more importantly, yeah, it just doesn't work. I'm just going to rule that you need more specifics. Unfortunately, this particular bounty seems to be, as I said prior, fairly generic in what it tells you. It basically gives you an area, what you're likely to encounter. It doesn't give you a defined number. It also says at the bottom of the document that the contract is especially perilous because of the recent encroach of the black wolves from the east, usually native to the mountains, and they tend to frequent the area near Xanthias, Willenheim, Aldrich, but for some reason they've become more brazen as of late, and they've definitely been spanning out in greater numbers and in fairly organized packs, which is uncommon even for wolves, which are generally fairly intelligent. Morgan kind of thinks for a second. Well, we'll need a place to put him in the meantime. Can't have him getting away. That would make us all look bad. Let's see. We have some barrels here. Well, I scouted the place before I reached Kovanal. There's some brush. There's some good brush and some trees nearby that if we pick it apart, we can use to conceal the cart and him. We can stuff him in a barrel, leave it crooked open to give him enough room to breathe. Can't guarantee that he won't make noise, but Morgan kind of leans back in the cart. But what I can tell you is if you do make noise, you might not get the help you want. So I'd be quiet if I were. You can hear Edward in the back, kind of pitifully moaning. Right. What do you say, Atticus?
Atticus will consider it and then he'll nod. Say, well, it seems a good way of any to create funds.
All right. Randall?
I am game, though you'll find I'm not much of a fighter. By the way, be right back. I'm going to go take a piss.
Right. Just, yeah. He brings the cart to a halt to allow you to kind of go in the bush. And with that, I'm just going to be right back. I got to piss too.
Yep.
Morgan kind of looks at you. Oh, right, Randall. Maybe you should stay behind with the cart since, yeah. Sure, you're a great butcher, and you might be able to sketch a couple fellows under the water, but this requires a different set of talents.
My character will nod in his general direction.
Okay. Yeah, just make sure he's quiet. Doesn't attract too much attention, and just try to make sure the horse doesn't get spooked. I have some traps in one of the barrels nearby. I'll make sure the area is nice and protected for you, but I've only got a couple. You piss off too many things and you're on your own. So just try to stay quiet.
Will do.
Right. Now, let's see. Plan. Where would they be? He begins musing to himself as the cart continues forward. The flicker of the lantern light providing what is absolutely essential and no more for the path ahead. Eventually, he'll kind of furl up his map and he'll reach in one of his pouches. Damn. All out. I'll have to pick up some pipeweed in Willenheim. Damn. They charge a premium for that over there. I should have picked up more at that trading post in Rubon. Kind of mutters to himself. Say. He looks at your character, Debo. I hear you Imperials are sweet with the dwarves. What are the chances you could get us a better deal at one of their clan holds? It's a bit of a detour from Aldrich. It's south, but seeing as how your people are close, maybe we can trade with them. They have outposts on the outskirts of the mountains. Might be able to get some useful information at the very least, and maybe some quality equipment if we're particularly lucky.
No, this seems sound.
Well, can you ensure that we'll get a good deal, Atticus? You're the Imperial, not me.
Well, my dealings with dwarves thus far have been less than ideal, so I would not promise that I will be able to do so.
Oh, right, you mentioned that one dwarf. What was his name?
Hadley.
Hadley. Hey, what happened to him anyway?
Shrugs. He turned pale when we arrived in Lakeshore and, well, took his payment and left us for dead.
Strange for a dwarf to do something like that. I heard they were honor-bound types of people. That's why you Imperials get along with them so well.
Yes, well, I cannot fault him.
Wait. He stops and thinks for a second. Did you see him leave?
We did not see him leave, no.
Oh. And you said that city was, not easy to navigate, right?
Perhaps, but, well, I doubt he even arrived in the city if he left the boat to begin with.
Huh. You stopped on the way?
Yes, we arrived by the boat.
Sneaky dwarf. I'm overthinking it, but it seems suspicious to me. Right. Well, Randall. On the off chance that we get unlucky and this is the last contract I ever take up, what's that talent you said you had?
Character's not there, taking a piss.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, I mean, you came back eventually, or are you just fucking taking a piss until you, like, have a prestige class for it? God
No,
damn.
I wanted to cast Expose the Veil.
Oh, what the fuck? I didn't hear that at all. Yeah.
I never said it until now. I assumed you guys were doing your thing while I was like walking a fair enough distance away.
I legit thought that you were just like, speed piss, and then like you're back, and then okay, fair enough.
Disaster die.
Let's see. Roll a disaster die. 4? Yeah, you're good. All right. Yeah. Expose the faggotry. Okay. All right. Classes. Scroll down to fucking sad brainist. Expose is the faggotry. Spokeville. Yep. Okay. Okay. So, Spoon. This takes you about 30 seconds to cast.
Yep.
10 actions. Cross off 10 mana. Let's see. Okay. You see 12 seconds into the future of the next scene. So right now you're going to see what happens 12 seconds into the next scene. The only senses that apply here are your are sight and sixth sense if you have it.
I
If
do
you do
not.
not, cool. So hearing, smell, touch, and taste do not apply here.
Acknowledged.
This area is not polluted by the dark, so you just know extra shit that happens. Make a will save, DC 15 or gain 1d4 insanity. And yep. And each time you what'd you get?
Let's see. My resolve is 5. My will is 4, and I rolled a 5. I rolled a 14.
Just short. Roll a 1d4, gain that much insanity. Okay, yeah, gain 1 insanity. Okay, so if you want, the more you use it within a day, the harder that save becomes to make. So
Yeah.
basically, it increases infinitely by 5. Okay, I'll give you an example of what this will look like. You kind of find a nice, quiet place off in the brush, and it's in this moment that you're grateful for what few spattering of trees and general cover there happens to be here, as Krisha is a fairly plains-heavy region. You tuck yourself away somewhere in the night that would make it increasingly difficult for anyone to see you, and you begin to chant your incantation. Your vision is thrust across time and space, and you can see the world veil part itself as your spirit navigates the fate weave. Reality itself seems to warp and bend, much like before, as though the walls of the world around you were made of some sort of flexible, delicate, almost liquid material. It constantly changes shape and bends and fragments and reassembles itself before your eyes until eventually it forms a complete picture. It's daytime, and you're next to the nearby cart. You see Morgan setting what appear to be several large-looking bear traps around the perimeter of the cart. Atticus, as is normal, sits around with kind of a unpleasant look on his face. Occasionally, he checks on his weapons and ensures that they're in order. But he pays a special attention to the blade that had come at no small cost. He seems to be watching over Morgan as he essentially makes your perimeter safe. The merchant. How do you wish to navigate this scene beyond what you have seen, Spoon? You have 10 seconds to kind of decide where you're going to look around. Give you a descriptor. You're basically parked up in some brush. Atticus is shortly thereafter requested by, or you can see is requested or spoken to by Morgan, and they both kind of disappear briefly into the woods after the perimeter is set. And you can see that the cart itself has been kind of, what do you call it? Kind of sequestered into a hidden zone and covered up with as many branches and brush and other twigs and leaves and whatever they could gather. However, where do you wish to go? You can basically like walk around in this vision as though you were there, but you don't have much time. Is there anything you wish to survey, look at? Right now it's daytime. You're just a couple, like maybe 10 or 15 meters or so into these woods. The trees are fairly thin, and there's at least a good 2 to 3 meters between them on average. They're fairly lively for the environment. Lots of branches and leaves that occasionally fall, and they're thick enough in the area that it is difficult to see past a certain point. However, though people that are within about 25, 30 meters will appear uh, fairly obviously, unless they make a concerted effort to hide. There are like rocks, boulders, and little dips in the terrain that certain folks could use to their advantage, but for the most part, it doesn't offer too much cover for those that aren't actively seeking to use it. What do you wish to do? Hopefully, I gave you a good enough descriptor.
Okay, I'd probably spend the last 10 seconds just like looking around the brush to see if there's anyone or anything in the general vicinity, just like looking left, looking right with what little time my character had.
Yeah, you spend basically yeah, you your vision is kind of cast along the outskirts of your little uh temporary encampment. You don't find anything immediately visible. However, Spoon, give me a recall check. Give me a
14.
14. Okay. Um, yeah. Do you wish to check on the merchant?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, you use what little time you have left to essentially um cast your vision into the into the rear of the cart. You can see that as you give the merchant kind of a casual look, he's still there, kind of unusually quiet, not making much noise or movement. His eyes are open, and you can see that he's still awake. Um, However, you notice that his hands, although tied behind his back, seem to be like fidgeting or wiggling in a particular way up against one of the nearby barrels.
Hmm.
Before you before you can investigate further, you're suddenly cast back into reality, uh, essentially thrown in reverse through the same brief but taxing journey across the infinite. It takes a moment for you to reorient yourself as you fit your consciousness back into your body. You snap back to it and are again able to function as normal. The first breath you take is always the sweetest. It's almost like coming back from death. Not that you know what that would be like, but first breath taken after each spell that takes you from this place is always the cleanest. That's what you get.
All right. Job done, and one insanity deeper. My character's gonna go, ugh, I hate doing that. Well, no time like the present. And my character's actually gonna take a piss and then walk back.
Sure. Yeah. You whip out your fella and you begin to do your business. Your mind is uneased somewhat. And while you hadn't felt as though you had misstepped during the incantation, it took some effort to push away the intrusion of every other possibility. It's essentially the equivalent of finding the lighthouse in a thick fog miles and miles away from the origin point. But sometimes certain visions slip through. It's inevitable. In this particular instance, you could feel yourself on the dirt. Your eyes glazed over. the breath tight in your chest and a wetness in your stomach area, extending outward to your neck and alongside your ear as you lay there motionless. You hear nothing. You feel nothing, with the exception of this sensation. Oftentimes, when you use your powers, the effects of your spells properly utilized are orderly and consistent, but the after effects, they do not follow the same rules. You're getting flickers or leftovers of filtered possibilities that could have potentially happened. And in one of them, the one that disturbed you to a small degree, you could feel your life leaving you. That is all.
All right.
This hits you suddenly, and you reconcile it fairly with no small amount of skill. You've grown used to kind of the after effects of a lot of your magics, but nevertheless, it does take its toll. Finishing your business, what do you wish to do?
I will head back up to the cart where I presume Morgan will ask me the very same question.
Yeah, he does.
Oh. Well, no one appears to be around. My character looks left and right. Follow me. I'll tell you. Atticus, you can join in this if you like.
Okay. Morgan kind of shrugs a bit and then goes, we should leave someone here with the cart. He looks at your character, Debo. Atticus?
What's he asking?
He's basically saying, he's like, we should leave someone with the cart just in case this merchant, like, busts out and somehow manages to get away with the cart or something.
Oh yeah, he totally agree with this and hand Randall a fucking hand crossbow and say, here you go.
What is this for?
Just in case. There's a bolt loaded. Shouldn't have to use it, but well, it'll be a lot harder for him to make noise or run away if one goes in him. In last resort, of course.
Well, hang on to that, Randall. It's a bit early, but hang on to it.
Yep, he'll just temporarily hand over Randall's hand crossbow. It's loaded.
Just to clarify, Debo, I'm going to, like, tell this guy that I'm, like, either a mage or not.
I mean, it's up to you. Atticus is just like, yo, bro, take this crossbow just in case he tries to run. You might suck with it, but, like...
I'm not the one staying with the merchant.
Oh, who's staying with the merchant?
He was asking you.
I don't want to stay with the merchant.
Okay, then say it. Because Spoon's basically trying to take him away, you guys away to tell you guys something. But he's just saying, well, I mean, if it's super urgent and...
Oh, Spoon's trying to take him away. Okay, yeah. Atticus will just stay with the merchant.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Morgan
I
looks
thought we were
over.
talking about, like, the actual mission shack. He's like, why the fuck?
No, we're not there yet. We're just, like, in the middle of a meadow on a fairly high precipice.
Oh, yeah, no, he'll stay with the fucking merchant and be like, yes, of course, we are good friends.
You're right. We won't be long. Whatever Randall's trying to tell me, I'm sure it's not that spectacular. All right, Randall, what do you have to show me?
Yep, Atticus will stay where he is watching the merchant, and conveniently he'll start pending to his sword with the shit that the merchant gave him.
My character will waltz 12 paces away. He'll welcome Morgan to kind of stand next to him. Well,
okay. He complies and just kind of listens.
Well, this is never particularly easy to talk to anyone about, because my kind are not particularly well-liked, and most people see silver in their eyes when I tell them, so that's led a little bit to my travels. But suffice to say, the long and short of it is, I am a magician.
He shrugs. Yeah, I figured. I mean, how else would you know you're cursed? That or you're lying. Is that it?
Well, I feel I should clarify as no one's ever taken it this easy before. That said, I wish to clarify that I do not typically do large explosions or turn people into other things, unless the other thing is, well, dead, but I'm not particularly good at that part. I'm mostly good at finding things, listening in on things, things of that nature.
Huh. So you're good at hearing? I don't I don't get it.
Let me present to you an example. Say that was another room in a tavern over there. Yes?
All right, sure.
I have a spell in my repertoire that would allow me to listen as if I was actually right just in the vicinity. No
Huh.
one being the wiser.
Kind of thinks for a second. And you can tell that he's apprehensive, but not entirely shaken or scared, but definitely contemplative based on his look. Hmm. Oh, can you prove it?
Certainly.
All right. Show me.
Alright. Choose a place to stand.
Spoon, give me a recall check.
Sure.
Beat a 10.
15.
There was something significant in your prior vision that may actually solve this for you. But that's all I will give you.
Like the merchant supposedly trying to like escape by rubbing himself on one of the barrels.
I don't know. Is that it?
Yeah, well, I actually, if you would believe it, cast a spell not too long ago under the assumption that we were going to get ourselves in some nonsense.
Right. So what did you hear then?
It was a different incantation. I saw a small vision of the future, or one of the futures.
Wait. He holds up his hands. You can see things that will happen. So you're like a seer?
Of a sense, but not for very long, and I only typically see things. I could describe it to you if you wish.
Kind of strokes his stubble a bit, and you can see his eyes light up a bit, light up almost immediately. Randall.
Morgan?
He takes a step toward you, and then he attempts to like grip you by the shoulders.
I allow this.
Yep. He grips you by the shoulders. Do you have any idea how much gold this could make us?
Quite a significant sum. However, I would not like to do it often.
What? Why not?
Well, in addition to what I saw, I also saw one of the many possibilities.
What?
And felt it, lying
What-
dead on the ground.
What?
It
What
was
does
not
that
a
mean?
How should I explain this? After the
I can see the future, bro. Money for real? Yeah, but like goes through fucking Robin Williams' genie rules. No. What do you mean? Go ahead, Smith.
these visions do not come without cost, and they do not always have pleasant outcomes. I do not always have the feeling of many things that happen. I typically only see these things, but when I attempt to leave, I am occasionally assaulted with other senses, such as the feeling of the ground that someone has stabbed me.
He releases you for a moment, and then he kind of shakes his head, looking even more confused. Wait. So, let me see if I understand this. You said you can see things, and into what is going to be specifically. But then you say, sometimes it doesn't work. Right?
I see a myriad of possibilities. The one that I typically focus on is the most likely to happen. But among those myriad possibilities, I tend to have hangers on that are not entirely pleasant.
Uh, He shakes his head. Look, Randall, I believe you. Just keep that crossbow close.
Honestly, I feel this would be better in Atticus's hands.
If what you told me is true, I beg to differ.
So far as I've seen, the only thing of concern is that the merchant has evidently found a way to whittle away his bindings against one of the barrels.
Ah, Randall, you got me. You're serious?
The last I saw of the vision, I was looking side of the cart to make sure the merchant was okay, and I saw him awake and alert, attempting to do something with his hands on the barrel.
Let's go look.
All right.
Come on, Randall. All right. He takes you back to the cart and walks up to the sitting platform where Atticus currently is. He takes the lantern briefly, and then begins to move to the back of the cart. He holds up the lantern, and you see the merchant. He's still and unusually quiet. Morgan throws the tarp off of the top of the caravan, and he sets aside some of the barrels and moves some of the some of his some of the implements of his livelihood. He examines the merchant's bindings and the rope that he had used to tie him. Huh. I'm not seeing any work being done on this binding. He kind of looks at the nearby barrel. Wait a minute. He examines the iron brace near the bottom, and he notes that it's somewhat warped and bent, and there's a particularly sharp, kind of cracked edge. He looks over at you, and then he looks at this, kind of small irregularity, easy to miss. Was he rubbing his bindings up against this? And he points to like the small kind of sharp crack of bent iron kind of sticking just far enough out that with some effort could theoretically cut the binding.
I didn't get a long look at it, but it did look very much like one of the barrels.
Okay. Morgan kind of thinks about it for a second, and then he looks at the merchant, whose bindings have yet to be worked on. Well, Eddie, Randall here has ensured that you will not be sleeping on the carriage floor anymore. No, we've got something better for you. He opens one of the barrels and he gives it a bit of a whiff. Oh, freshly tanned hides went in there. Well,
Oh no!
the merchant kind of
Devo, you're here seeing hearing all this.
he slings Harris over his shoulder briefly, and then he plops him inside of the barrel as Harris struggles futilely.
I'm stopping this shit. I'm watching.
He puts Harris in the barrel, and then he begins to essentially hinch him in to the back of the wagon with the other belongings, capping off the top and leaving just enough of a gap for him to breathe. You can hear the pitiful moaning of the merchant. You can tell that he's like borderline breaking down in tears.
Oh yeah, I don't give a shit. Fuck that dude.
Morgan looks at you and goes, "Well, Randall, I don't know if what you say is true, but might have just saved me 2 gold. For that..."
Well, if you would like to confirm it, unfortunately Atticus here knows, and he saws me. My character wiggles his hands in front of his chest.
I believe you. Just, don't make me suffer if you make mistakes. I guess that's my only request.
My character taps 2 times with his staff on the deck of the wagon. I shall endeavor not to.
Good. Then we're squared. I don't want to have to shoot you, Randall, because I like you. So just don't do anything crazy.
Just so we're clear, I'm assuming crazy is not just going everywhere and just haphazardly doing the thing or killing people, the usual.
See, if I said this to someone like Atticus, it would be fairly simple. Don't shoot me and don't accidentally stab me if we're fighting next to each other. For you, don't make mistakes. Ever.
That is a tall order.
Yeah, well, best fulfill it.
Mm.
In any case, you're welcome along with us.
That is pleasant to hear. Well,
Right. So, shall we?
certainly.
All right. Oh, that poor merchant. Okay. Yeah.
Just like 30 fucking miles down the trail. We're gonna be rich, Atticus. Fucking rich.
Yeah, his face went, wait, you can see shit that hasn't happened yet? Him? Holy shit, we can make so much money. Fucking Randall. Yeah, except no. Nanny? What do you mean, yeah, except no? Well, so I have this really useful talent, right? Yes. And it's really good. Yes. And it lets me see things that haven't happened yet. Yes. And we could use it to make a lot of money. Yes. Except there's a chance that I fuck up completely, give you the wrong information. What? No.
Stop it.
No.
Not one for shit life. Fuck off.
No. Yeah, fuck. Okay. The remainder of the evening. For the remainder of the evening, Morgan will recommend that you guys essentially camp out close to the sticks. You don't start a fire or do anything of the sort. You find some brush and you make yourselves kind of a small makeshift shelter. I'm gonna roll his survival here real quick to make something just kind of, simple. Yeah. He ends up making a relatively simple shelter for you guys to sleep in. He recommends against the fire just due to the general area they're in. And he essentially preps the ground for you guys to have a nice, comfy night's sleep. However, he does recommend that you guys rotate watch throughout the night. And what that means is you guys will be getting about 6 hours of sleep each,
Okay.
assuming everything goes according to plan.
Understandable.
Okay. All right. Eventually, morning breaks, and both of you are woken by the sweet smell of fried sausages. Morgan seems to have set a fire now that nighttime has passed, and he's essentially kind of cooking up some sausages and a couple eggs, and he's got some kind of stale but not yet moldy bread on the side. He put some effort into making himself something fairly appetizing. It wafts along all of your nostrils, and probably the merchant as well. But let's be honest, he's only fed jerky and occasionally given a sip of water. Oh, that's hell.
And he's in a tanning barrel because of the shit that I did.
Yep.
I'm an asshole.
Yeah, you are. You're literally arid in this playthrough. Enjoy. Okay. As you both wake up,
Dude, Aaron had it easier. Shut the fuck up.
As you both wake up, stretch, get the night out of your bones, Morgan plates himself some food, and he looks up at both of you. You can use the pen if you want. He begins.
Atticus just pulls out some rations and makes his meal up.
Morgan kind of gives your rations a bit of the side eye. What sort of rations do you have, Debo?
They're just like common. I don't know. Let me check.
So like jerky, basically jerky and water. And if it's
Yeah,
common, then it's Jesus, jerky and water. All right, jerky and water.
yeah, jerky and water.
Fair
Pokemon
enough.
find out.
What do you shut the fuck up? What do you eating, Spoon? Same thing.
Yeah, about.
Morgan kind of looks at you both, and he kind of gives a bit of a look. Right. He takes his wooden utensil and he kind of cuts one of the sausages down the center, and he kind of moves his plate forward to offer a piece each to you. Look, I've been there. He offers each of you a sausage.
I'll take one of the halves.
Takes it
Thank
with
you.
gratitude and thanks him, and then
Yeah.
mixes it in with his fucking hardtack and eats them both at the same time, like savage.
You know, it's not much, but it's not jerky. It's not hardtack. It's got some flavor behind it, and you can tell that he spiced it with just a little bit of salt. Not too much, just enough, and it's delicious. It's super basic, but it's
What skill is hunting again? Is it survival?
survival, yeah.
And traps. Atticus has traps and survival. He could technically go hunting, but
You could. Yep, that's right. It's safe to say you could hunt here in this particular region.
is there time enough to hunt though? Because if
There-
there is, Atticus will fucking straight up just go try and hunt as soon as he wakes up.
Yeah, there's time to hunt. But you'd have to ask, or at least let him know that like what you're doing.
Yeah. He'd let him know and be like, this area looks like it might produce something of value. I might as well take a look. Then he'd hop down and wander off to go fucking do that.
Morgan kind of yells after you. Whoa, what do you mean look around? Where are you going?
Rabbits. And then
Hey,
he'd continue on his way.
Why waste your time with the rabbits? Not much to eat there.
Something.
He shrugs. All right. Good luck to you. He looks over at your character, Spoon. How's the sausage, Randall?
It's good. Thank you.
What do you usually eat? And don't tell me it's that.
Oh, typically partial to cheese and fish.
All right. As Atticus kind of makes his way into the bush, Morgan continues. I can't help but think that maybe if Atticus had some less expensive habits, you might be able to eat a bit better on the road. Because I've been where you're both at. Tack, jerky, and water. Oh, that's what I'm feeding my prisoner. So either you've just started going on the road, or you ate whatever you had before that was better. Because, wouldn't want to be back there. Couldn't give up my sausage or my eggs, or the bread. Hell, and if I'm lucky, I get some cheese.
My character nods. These were typically only supposed to be for the emergency. However, we had to leave Thyme in a bit of a hurry.
Yeah, I figured. That was when Atticus mentioned those white robe fellows, right?
Aye.
Yeah. Saw a couple of them, but they didn't seem to be too many. I just thought it was some priest of whatever god is out here. See, in Farkrath, it's a bit different. It's just the mother and the father. That's what we have. It's not as confusing. But you lot here, well, I don't know how you do it. Killing each other.
My character shrugs. I was never one of the most religiously inclined. Most of my kind would typically hold away to a place called the Dark Quarter.
Right. Yeah, because you're from... yeah, he kind of nods. Wouldn't want to be you, Randall. Well, I mean, you don't seem to make a lot of sense. If I were you, I'd like to have all that money that should come with what you say you do. Except it doesn't. Randall, I'm going to be honest with you. You confuse me more than any man I've ever met. And
In what
sometimes you
way?
make no. I still don't know what it is you do. All I know is that I believe you believe you're telling the truth.
My character, like, slightly does a head shaking tilt, is like, that is fair.
Hmm. Well, let's hope I don't find out in a bad way. He goes back to eating his food. All right, Debo. It's time to make a survival check. Uh,
Is traps applicable, or would that take time? I assume it would take time.
take time. Hunting is an act that does generally take time, and more importantly, very rarely do you shoot something and then it's just down and you can go collect it unless you get the perfect shot. Usually you have to, track it, run it
Yeah,
down. Yeah. So let's see
I
what
can
you
do
got.
tracking.
Except smaller things, but as you go hunting for smaller things, you also have to be aware that like what you're using could impact the quality of the stuff you're getting. You shoot a rabbit with a fucking musket, a 69 caliber ball.
It'll fucking
Ooh.
evaporate.
So
Oh
you want me
yeah.
to do trade or tracking or survival?
What I will require you to do is a survival check because this involves hunting. Tracking is when you actually, if you wound whatever it is you're looking for. So let's see if
Okay.
you can. I would require in this area, and actually, I'm going to make the check a bit higher because you're not familiar with this area. I'm going to require a 15.
Yeah, I did it.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, you find some rather medium-sized tracks, some kind of cloven hooves in pairs, four-legged, one ahead of the other, kind of along some fairly clear path, considering the rest of the forest. You moving some of the leaves away. You can tell that your quarry went north from this position and deeper into the woods. Tracking check to follow the tracks. Oh, by the way, before you do that, you found some feces on the ground, round, brown, and consistent in one spot. Some of it is solid, but for the most part, you could recognize that as deer poop.
All right, so we're dealing with the deer, and I don't assume that my hand crossbow could handle a deer, right?
You would likely wound it, and then it would take some time for it to like bleed out and well, be ripe for every other process. The thing is, here's the thing: you know how to find food, right? You can assumedly know how to track it. Can you do the rest of it? Can you skin it properly? And do you have somebody to cut up the meat? You do, but do you know how to skin it? That falls under survival as well.
I mean, I could give my best shot.
Sure. Okay.
So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try and track it stealthily
Okay.
as best I can.
Yeah, I'll only have you roll for stealth when you're in a situation where you could be detected.
Okay. Well, he's
Um,
still gonna try and do it like easy,
sure.
hunting.
Yep, just give me a tracking check.
Yep.
Um, okay.
Nice. Yeah. That's 17.
Okay. Yeah. You managed to follow the tracks of this deer for a good 15, 20 minutes until eventually you come to a rather thick outcropping of trees, and inside you can kind of hear the bush rustling a bit. You see kind of a set of what appear to be antlers just poking up through the brush, and that's it.
All right. I'll wanna set up somewhere out of sight quietly and like train my sights on it as best I can. Line up a good shot.
Yeah, give me a stealth check.
What the fuck?
Nice. Nice. Yep. All right.
Um,
Now, to give
a
you an
fuck
idea,
ton. That's like that's pretty high. That's like 924.
okay, so you're able to take up a position stealthily near your quarry. What I would recommend you do is check the range of your crossbow, your effective range. With your roll,
So
you'll
I'm
be
only
able...
going to use my musket.
Okay. What's your survival score?
1.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you might not. All right. Cool.
I
All right.
figure I'll scare another one out, but
Check the effective range of your weapon.
20 tiles.
20. Okay. I would say that based on your stealth score, you're able to get within your effective range. Do you wish to get closer than 20, or do you wish to be at your effective range peak?
He's pretty much going to try to line up the best shot he can.
Okay.
He has Eagle Eye, which I don't think matters. What else would matter?
You can see the antlers of the creature, but you cannot see its any of its any portion of its body. You kind of see the brush that's kind of obscuring it, and you see the antlers moving around, but yeah, you don't really see the rest of it.
Yeah, he'll basically just be trying to like train up his sights and sort of be patient and watch it, see if it pokes out.
Okay. Hmm.
What the fuck? Did you roll a 9?
Yeah.
Bro, what the fuck? That's like 4 9s in a row.
Cursed. Yeah,
Cursed success, Jesus.
whatever it is, assumedly a stag, it seems fairly content to simply sit where it is and just graze on whatever it's found.
Well,
You wait for 5 minutes, you hold up your gun, the antlers kind of twitch a bit, their angle changes, indicating that it's moving around back there, but for the most part, it seems to remain still. Birds chirp amidst the trees, and hmm. You want to suck in? I'll keep the one. Yep.
oh, you toxic bastard. That'd be so petty, dude.
Don't worry, I'm certainly saving those ones for me.
Yeah, I've been hunting enough to know that you just fucking wait, man.
Right now, the deer is unaware, so you would just require a distance DC. I would give you a -3 penalty because it's considered to be in light cover since you can't actually see it. You just see antlers, so you're kind of trying to get a rough approximation of where you would be shooting. But using the kind of weapon you're using, and the fact that you're at least within your effective range means that you're not suffering the +2 per tile. Right now,
Yeah,
you're
I want to try to
operating...
use a sniper shot maneuver.
Okay, I'm gonna read sniper shot just to make sure that it's legit. Let's have a look here.
I'm basically gonna sacrifice 3 actions until I have my maximum bonus, and then try and shoot it.
You cannot use sniper shot in this situation since you're not in combat. There's no general actions to sacrifice. However, what I will say is you're getting a distance DC instead because this thing is unaware of you, and what that means is the shot is easier to hit because it doesn't get its agility or any of its other modifiers. So I'm going to see if distance DC. Okay. Yeah, distance DC. Okay. Oh, so yeah, you have to hit a DC 23 at your maximum range, plus the small penalty you're getting from it technically being in light cover. The closer you get, the lower the DC will be. That's how it works.
How does ranged attack calculate against fight or agility? That's fight, right? Fight plus skill plus that's it.
So here's how it works right now. When an opponent is aware, it's basically like making a fight check in melee for the sake of like balance. However, if an opponent is unaware, then it's just a distance DC. A distance DC is basically +1 per tile away they are.
All right, I'll try to creep up as reasonably close as I can without spooking them.
Yeah, like to give you an idea, Debo, let's say so if you didn't have this penalty, it would just be DC 20 at your maximum range.
Right.
Um, if because of this small light cover penalty you're getting, which you'd get too if somebody was doing this to you, it's 23. But if you say wanted to make this shot at 25 tiles, right?
Yeah.
The DC would go up quite a bit to 30 because beyond that 20, it's now +2, +2, +2 because you're exceeding your effective range. That was done because back in the day, and I think you remember, range was kind of overpowered where you would just always hit.
I miss range being overpowered. Fuck you.
Yeah, to give you an
Now,
idea, Debo, you'd basically be shooting across like this entire game board at like my model piece right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's gonna definitely try to close the distance, creep up on him a bit.
yeah, let's see. Is that's about 20 tiles, right?
About like 22, 23-ish.
Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So Debo, you can shoot with your gun this distance without penalties. So long as if he's unaware, this is just Debo hit a 20 and you automatically hit. However, if Spoon, as an example, was aware of you, right? You'd have to make that check. You'd basically make that check versus his like here's right here.
Agility and shit. Yeah. So I understand. I want to creep closer as best I can. Yeah.
All right.
Additionally, can guns even be dodged?
Guns are not being dodged.
Got it.
They operate the same way that bows, crossbows, and everything else operates. When I let people use dodge and all of their dodge skills against guns and ranged weapons, they're not dodging. I'm just assuming they're making themselves as hard to hit as possible because they're aware. You're not going to run in a straight line. You're going to juke and dodge and do a bunch of things so that they don't shoot you, right? Logically speaking. If you're not running away and you're in combat, you're going to make that shot as hard as you can. This is how I'm justifying giving people what is essentially dodge versus range. I'm just not calling it dodge because you're not dodging. They're missing, basically. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Debo. Once you get every 5 tiles distance you get closer to this thing, I want you to recheck your stealth.
Okay.
So,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep.
Stealth check me, big boy.
Oh no.
We don't even need fucking... Okay. Senses... So... Okay.
23.
Yep. All right. You succeed.
What's the DC at to shoot now?
This would be 18, 16, 17, 18. Do you want to go another 5? Do you want to...
I'll go another 4. Well.
Okay.
And then I'll try shooting from here.
Okay. Is your base enough to hit?
Yeah, probably, yeah. What is it?
Oh.
It's fight plus skill?
You move forward 4 spaces. So I'm going to say that 15. So 14 you'd have to hit.
What's the skill? It's fight plus rifle, right?
Yeah, you just need to be able to hit a 14 because the deer is unaware.
Oh yeah, I auto that shit.
Cool. All right. You prop up your musket. You take aim very carefully. You pull the trigger. Ow. You see the you see the horns kind of stagger a bit in the bush and then kind of flop over. Assuming you hit your shot, you rush over toward the deer.
Yep, and he'll have his rope at the ready.
Yep, you have your rope at the ready. The creature is fairly stone dead. It takes its last few breaths as you approach. You blasted a sizable hole through its torso. I'm gonna roll a d10 here real quick. If I get anything lower, anything lower than an 8, unfortunately, you get some bad luck. You land a clean shot. Unfortunately, you pretty much blasted through its bladder and most of its colon, uh, splattering a lot of the meat with fecal matter on the lower half. It'll require some cleaning and a bit of additional time, and some of the meat, in all honesty, is just ruined. But you can still get some of it from the upper sections. The hide in and of itself won't be worth as much, but you might be able to turn it into something. Um, the creature's dead. It has taken its last breath, and now it is there, ready for you to have your way with it.
Do you think it's possible to cut through the top half? Like, basically cut away the fucking shit part and drag up the top half?
Yep. You have a survival skill of 1.
Yeah, he'll try to use his short sword for this.
You are you know the absolute entry level stuff.
Oh yeah,
So-
he's just trying to like get enough meat for whatever, man.
Yep, that's fair.
I mean, I'm assuming as a butcher, my character can do something about that.
I mean, you could, but you're not there. That's the thing.
I know.
Oh yeah, my character does know that he's a butcher, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, he told you.
Oh my god, he's gonna.
You've been. Bear in mind, just so you're aware of the situation. You tracked this for 20 minutes. Found it. You waited for another 10. It's been 30 minutes. You shot it. It's dead. Now you need to find a way to take this back.
I'm gonna rope him up, or try and rope him up with some of the rope,
Okay.
or like rope the upper half so he can drag it.
Okay.
Because like the lower half's already fucked, is what you're telling me. So like dragging it a bit won't hurt much.
Dragging it will not. However, dragging it could also like sully the meat, and ruin some of the fur. How strong is Atticus?
5 strength.
Okay, yeah, no, you can drag it. A male deer tends to weigh, I think, anywhere from 160 to 240 pounds.
Yeah, like it wouldn't be easy, but you know he tried to do it with as least damage possible. But you know,
Yeah, no, there's only so much you can do, bro.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like
as you're dragging it.
as long as he can preserve like some of the top meat, he'll be like, okay, it's all good.
Yeah, you're basically dragging entrails, fecal matter splattered entrails, ragged fur. And you're essentially just taking this thing through the ringer all the way back to the camp. Which is fine.
It's
You
a
can do it.
nightmare, but yeah, he's gonna try.
All right, Debo. So in order to do this at speed, I'm gonna say that you'll be dragging it. However, I'm gonna require a feats check, strength plus feats plus 1d10. All you need is a 10 to get it back at a
Damn.
reasonable speed. Nice.
Yeah, like 17, 19.
Cool. Yeah. You tie up the deer as best you can using your exceptional hog tying abilities, because I'm pretty sure you have cordage.
Yep.
And yeah, you essentially begin dragging it with some effort, but not as difficult as it could be had you tried to actually carry it on your back. You drag the deer carcass through the woods for the better part of about 15 minutes. However, okay. That's what you're doing. Spoon.
Yeah.
You and Morgan have been having conversations on and off as you've waited for Atticus to return from his impromptu hunting trip. You hear a loud bang in the forest, and Morgan kind of perks up briefly. I hope you found something. Something edible.
Sounds like you
Otherwise,
found something.
Randall, you're a butcher, aren't you?
That I am.
Yep. I don't hunt too often, but when I do, there's lots of deer in these parts. Stags. Oh, and rabbits, but between you and me, I hate rabbit. There's nothing there. It's too lean. Not enough fat. Stews
And
tend to be
the-
tasteless. expensive.
If we attempt to make a stew out of Atticus shooting a rabbit, I hope you enjoy eating air.
No. That's why I say if you're going to be a hunter, go for something that will last and something that has some taste. I've only ever had good rabbit once, and it was not worth what I paid to make it palatable. No. Let's hope that all he comes back with is dinner and no added company.
That would certainly be a pleasant change of pace.
Yes, well, between you and me, Randall, I have a question about Atticus.
What is it?
Debo, very temporarily go in another chat, please.
Oh, yeah?
You don't get it. Metagaming for you, little faggot.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah?
Yes, Antenimora, you fucking bitch. Your friend Atticus. Is he always so callous? Like, look, I get it. Our lives are not easy, but you said that slow fella was your friend, and you left him there for a blade.
So far as I am aware, he made the purchase without being aware of the price. He sent me to look at them.
Right, but, knowing that the friend was ill, why wouldn't he just try to sell it, even at a loss? Get some of the coin back and pay his friend's unfortunate bill. And if what he told me was right, the only reason he could even afford such a thing was, well, because of this sick man. Am I right or am I mistaken?
The character thinks about it. You would be right about that, I think.
Look, I'm not here to cause trouble between you and Atticus, but as part of my profession, I tend to study the folks I'm with, and selling someone you'd refer to as a friend for a blade is not exactly usual, Randall. But I think you know that.
Aye.
Right. So, not that I'm saying this would happen, but you're going to humor me here. If he's willing to leave a man that was so generous and charitable behind for a blade, no less, and without any concern or guilt, does that not concern you? Even slightly?
Oh, it is a definite concern of mine. That I can assure you.
So, you know what? Maybe I'm overthinking it, Randall. Maybe you already knew all this, but you and I, we should look out for each other. Because between you and me, I don't think he will if he's so pressed.
Let us
If he
endeavor not to be the next on that list of unfortunate companions, yes?
Right. As I said, I'm more than willing to travel with you. I'm sure he's a man of his word to a point. But I can't imagine how far or how dramatically that would change if suddenly we find ourselves back in his lands where he might have more leverage and more people willing to help him get rid of those that are troublesome, especially if he ends up owing us debts along the way. I'm not too concerned. I'd be more concerned for your sake if what you tell me is even remotely true.
Yes.
And here's the thing. One last thing that I did notice is he seemed fairly ready to murder those mercenaries on the road. as a primary tactic.
Yeah, well, I suppose in the Imperium, when you're given a rifle and a target, or I'm sorry, when you're given a rifle, what is that saying? Everything begins to look like a target.
Maybe you're right. As far as I know, I've known a lot of soldiers. You know where I'm from. We're always fighting. Noble houses, the peasants, it never ends. But even those soldiers, they know when to put the weapon down. And I know that folks from the Imperium tend to take their warfare fairly serious, but this might be something else even for them. I've spent time in the Imperium, encountered a lot of soldiers, and well, they still. He pauses for a moment. Look, Randall, I'm just saying I don't have anything against Atticus. But whatever he has gone through, and by extension you are about to go through, and me as well being with you, I think it's taken its toll on him. And not in a way that we can help him get out of. What I'm suggesting is, if it comes to it, you need to watch my back, and in return, I'll watch yours.
I can
Because
agree to that.
I appreciate that, Randall. Bear in mind, I'm hoping this doesn't have to come to any sort of fruition, but if what he said was true, and he abandoned the very man that gave him the means to get not only off of the ground when he had given up hope, what do you think he'll do to us if pushed? Just give it some thought, Randall. That's all I'm saying.
My character nods. With
Yep.
what little I know of Atticus, he tends to take the most assured of any of his outs. So far as I know, he's been a rifleman nearly all of his career. It's what he knows, it's what he knows that he's good at. He likes to ply his trade, for lack of anything to call it.
You realize that this doesn't dismantle my case, Randall. It just makes
No.
it stronger.
No, it does. No, yes, it does.
Right. Glad we could reach an agreement. And like I said, hopefully we can form a fairly lucrative business arrangement between the three of us, but I've had to watch my back in the past before. So I'd recommend that you start learning how to if you haven't already.
My character
All right.
digs a small trench with his walking stick as he looks up. I suppose that's one of the many things that I'll have to learn how to do.
Yeah, well, just, if you think he's acting strange, just, let me know, Randall. And, as a courtesy, I'll do the same for you.
My character gives him a nod.
Right. Let's get off this topic. Oh, yeah, welcome back, Devo. Oh, he's dead, fuck.
You toxic piece of nigger shit.
Alright.
Alright, guys, remember to like, favorite, and subscribe my fucking YouTube channel.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
Hey, man. Eventually, with some determination and a surprising amount of, you could almost say uncharacteristic muscle, you manage to drag the entirety of the stag out from the woods. You're greeted by Morgan as he sees your catch. Oh. Damn, Atticus. You think you could have used something else?
maybe, but I don't think that I would have made it back in time.
Oh. He looks, Morgan looks over at Randall. Oh!
Yes, it's unpleasant, but I
Oh.
figure the top half can still be scavenged,
Oh,
although that's not my profession.
never let a soldier hunt. Oh, leave it there.
Yep.
Oh,
This is no hunter, and he leaves it where it left. He
leave it.
takes his rope back and reloads his gun.
Oh, that stink will have attracted every wolf for miles. Randall, can you salvage it?
I can do something about this. He's likely ruptured the bladder. My character starts to just like going to town, like pulling up his tunic over his mouth. Is like, uh, oh, good lord, there's shit everywhere. Okay, the flank steak is dead. I'm not eating that. Okay,
Nobody's
the
eating
ribs
that.
are
Maybe the
fine.
prisoner will like it.
He needs to get there alive, Atticus.
Just a thought.
Well, I'd hate to see what you do to those people you don't like. Feeding them shit meat. Ugh,
It's better than hardtack.
you're not wrong. All right.
It's literally just up like 0.5 a stage from hardtack.
Like quite literally having someone's asshole stapled to your mouth, having them shit forever is better than hardtack. Are you fucking serious? That shit's cancer. All right.
Oh yeah, Atticus will reload his shit and put his rope back.
Look, Randall, whatever you salvage from it, if Atticus is okay with it, I can make us up some stew and I don't know, maybe we can find a way to carry what's left.
Well, it certainly sounds more pleasant than it smells.
What can you salvage?
Okay, I can get most of the ribs, the two
Good.
front feet, it's neck meat, it's kind of stringer, but we can do that. And, well, if you're partial to it, I can boil the brains.
We can't afford to be too picky out here. That was the last of the good food that I had. I've got one sausage left, and you know what I have left after that.
More's the pity. Let's see if I can shave off a little bit. I'll be sure to smell every bit to make sure it's not covered in, lest we forget.
Okay.
Suffice to say, I'm not bringing this fucking pelt.
It looks ruined. I don't think we'd get much for it anyway.
That's why.
Let's see. Did he... Oh, through to the other side. Well, we'll just toss it. We need to be quick. If what they said about this area is true, well, we might have some company in a couple hours.
Yes, me and Atticus actually ran afoul of some of those Xanthian with wolves. Is that what they were? Xanthian Atticus?
That's what they call them. The black wolves, nasty buggers, tough hides, cunning, smart, more than normal wolves. Don't know what they're doing so far west, but rumor has it that supposedly they have some sort of mythical leader wolf that no one has ever managed to catch.
Well, if we ever suddenly decide we don't like living, I could probably track it down. That said, we have 3 of them still likely doing a seizure in the middle of the road back near Dream, and Atticus gave one a headache.
Well, that'd be mighty useful, Randall, if we weren't several days from him.
We've dealt with them before, but, well, a repeat offense is, not ideal. I'm just trying to keep my mind off of the shit.
Yeah, well,
Speaking of wolves, Atticus slings his gun over his shoulder and retrieves his spear instead, and just like looks around the surrounding area just in case,
yeah.
Oh,
Morgan kind of looks over at your character, Debo. Yeah, I don't think so. If someone pops up that isn't a wild animal, I'll let you know, Atticus. I think I'll take it from here. He kind of holds up his crossbow.
Atticus shrugs.
Yeah, he positions himself near the cart, and he calls over his shoulder to the barrel where the merchant's kept. Mr. Harris, how are you liking your accommodations? That's the spirit. That's why I like you, Harris. You're growing on me. Always positive, no matter what's happening. Ah, he's fine, gentlemen. Just didn't get much sleep. It's gonna be real hard giving you up, Harris. You know? Feel like after this journey, our friendship's what really matters. You suddenly hear an explosive, just flurry of muffled screams. I know, it's gonna be hard for me to give you up. But that's just life, you know? I know. Oh well. Kind of Morgan begins lighting a pipe, occasionally looking across the plains and down the slopes of the cliffs. Well, it's the last of the reserve. Damn. Lucky I found that. Hey. Hey, Randall.
Hey!
You think you could, you know, maybe see if you can procure me some more, pipe weed?
Yeah, if you know anyone who has a stash of it anywhere, I could probably track it down.
Outside of merchants, not really. Damn. It's... Let me know when you salvage the meat. The barrels are ready.
Most of the flank is gone, the ribs are fine. Oh, actually, the backstrap looks alright. Looks like we're having some loins in the future. Shoulder's fine. Both of the shanks are good. I'm not going near that leg meat.
I know there was a reason I invested in some Imperial grade salt when I came back. It's in the back. That should preserve the meat.
That should just about do it. My character's just like, I'm assuming, like, pot carrying a fairly
Yeah.
large, what is it called? Like, fucking cloth full of, like,
Yeah,
just cuts
pretty
of meat.
much.
Like, the ribs, the backstrap, the shoulder, both shanks.
Morgan basically,
I mean, that's still good eating for a couple days, man.
yeah, no, it's good. Morgan basically says, well, if we had the time, I'd say we dry it out. Kind of extend it over the journey, but, time's of the essence.
Like
All right,
nuts.
Randall. Let's see. Which barrel are we going to throw this in? Over here. This one, near the back. So I'll salt it up as you throw it in. It'll take you guys a couple minutes, but eventually you guys will get all the meat. You guys will get all the meat salted and about as preserved as you can without stopping to dry it. And Morgan will procure a medium-sized jug of water, and you can use it to kind of clean yourself up as best as possible. The stink is still kind of ever present, but you get a good chunk of the filth off of you at least.
Mm-hmm.
He saddles up on the cart. Right. Shall we then?
We shall.
All right. Let's go make some silver. And you're off. You skip past the mining town near Covenall, and you skirt the edges of the nearby woods. Slowly traversing the dry plains of Acretia, occasionally you're treated to the sights of the cliff sides. And on the odd occasion, you're also kind of given a bird's eye view. The closer you kind of edge towards some of the more perilous sections. But Morgan's deft handling of the cart and ability to calm the animal keeps it mostly on the same track. The horse acts up one or two times, but he seems to be able to calm it down, given a full stop and some time. Eventually, however, at around 12 in the afternoon or so, you reach the edge of the woods, and Morgan kind of brings the cart to a halt at the bottom of the nearby cliff, next to an outcropping of rocks. There, that's the place. Originally, I was going to say we throw some brush over it, but we can do both. I'll park the cart between these rocks. We'll cover it up with what we can, and well, hope Randall can keep this place safe with that crossbow that you gave him while I set up some traps on the perimeter. Atticus, I guess you should.
I can help him with traps too.
All right. He holds up a hand and goes, it won't be necessary. Just make sure your weapons are ready. I like to do this part on my own.
Atticus will shrug and nod very well. And he'll check over his weapons and make sure they're all good.
Fair enough. Morgan kind of sets the cart up as much as he can, and he begins to take some rather large-looking traps out of one of them. There's 3 of them at least, and they're larger than normal. Definitely look like the kind to catch large game, specifically predators. Traps of this quality can most certainly snap a human leg rather easily, and at this size, they could potentially snap the bone clean in 2. They're all faceted to a chain, and he holds in his hand a couple thick-looking iron rods, along with a hammer. Right. I'm going to scour the edge of the woods, and I'm going to put a couple of these nearby so that if something's approaching Randall from that angle, it won't get the drop on him. At least, not without tripping one of these. When we get back, I'll collect them. But here, Morgan kind of points on the map roughly where he's going to place the traps. Just be careful in these spots. If you get caught in this, well, you're not going to be the only idiot getting left out for nothing.
Yeah, Atticus will look over the indicated locations and do his best to commit it to memory.
All right. He disappears into the brush. All right. You and Randall may interact should you so choose. If not, let me know and we'll keep going.
Yeah, just waiting. Atticus is just tending to his weapons, so unless Randall wants to do some shit, then, you know.
My character will take a brief look around, open the top of the barrel, look at the merchant, make sure he's not doing anything shifty.
The merchant is thoroughly stuffed in the barrel, looking incredibly unhappy. As you kind of look in on him, you catch his eye briefly, and the one eye you can see squints in your direction angrily. If looks could be death, you would have exploded into 1,000 pieces.
My character nods at him.
He's a death
Good
mage,
to
you
see
die.
you.
Anyway, he's a death mage, you die. No,
Well.
Sorry, you were saying?
My character gives a nod to him. Good to see you, comfy. Closes the barrel.
Yep, you kind of close the barrel up, leaving him just enough wiggle room to breathe and adjust himself barely. And he's he's fallen completely quiet.
I'll look over to Atticus.
Looks over at Randall, yep.
My character holds out his hand. Good luck to you and Morgan.
Yeah, he'd shake it and nod, say, remember don't pull too tightly on the trigger, otherwise it might jam.
What are you talking about?
Crossbow.
I think I'm going to be completely honest with you. I trust my character looks at the barrels. Tenuous skills, a lot more than this thing that I do not know how to aim.
Well, that's the good part, Randall. This one you don't need to know how to aim. You just point in a general direction, pull the trigger, and well, maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. Either way, he'd shrug. I have no need of it on this particular excursion, so I'll be leaving it here.
Oh, hope that holds true.
All right.
He's also gonna leave the spear in the cart,
All right.
just so it's not as noticeable.
All right. You leave your spear in the cart. Morgan eventually, given about 10 minutes or so, emerges from the forested brush. He walks over to the cart and he goes, that's everything. All right, Randall. If we're not back by dawn with some currency, just continue heading to the next town. We'll either meet you there or we're dead.
My character gives a solemn nod. I shall pray for your success, religious though I am not.
Well, prayers coming from those that paid lip service don't mean much, but I appreciate the sentiment. Thanks, Rand. All right, Atticus, are you ready?
Atticus nods. I'm ready as I'll be.
All right. Let's see if we can find our companions. All right. Brief pause of the game so that I can get some things oriented, and we're taking just a quick break so I can get a couple things set up, and we're good.
Okay.
Using your combined skills, do manage to pick up on the initial starting trail. A lot of them aren't as reliable as either of you would like. There are tracks here, but it's quite obvious that whoever is making them does make some fairly skilled effort in covering them up. Only a few tiny mistakes give you any sort of lead. As you both kind of remain aware of your surroundings, your gun loaded and ready to fire, and his crossbow similarly, he kind of looks over at you and asks, "So, Atticus, you done this before with your Imperial boys?"
Done what? Crept up upon an enemy camp and took them out? Yes.
Well, I was more talking about in this way, not in an organized warfare way. This is a bit...
Well, I have some personal skill at it, yes.
Say, along with that, you mentioned that fella that had traveled with you. What was his name? Elias?
Elias, yes.
You said he left? He abandoned you, and so did that dwarf?
That is correct.
You said you didn't know why the dwarf abandoned you. Why did the other fellow abandon you?
Well, I believe that he had some differences in how I chose to conduct myself.
All right. I'll wait for you to finish that then.
That is it.
No details, huh?
Well, I can't imagine pointing this at him endeared him to me any further than he wasn't already.
He kind of does the hand motion while kind of sifting through the brush, much like you are. This is like casual conversation over the shoulder type stuff. Right. And the differences being, weren't you with that fella you said that was acting as your leader, commander, man with veterancy? What was his name? Franco?
That's correct, but I don't see any relevance.
I'm curious. I like to learn about the people I travel with, don't you? Or do you just walk silently along with them?
Well, I've not had much reason to.
What do you mean, not much reason?
Well, consider the tale of my journey, Morgan.
I have.
Then you know I have not much reason to.
Is that what your story told you? In your position, I'd have even more reason to get to know the people I travel with. But maybe that's just a difference between us.
Perhaps.
What did you do before all this? You had a family? If you're talking to Bo, I can't hear you.
Oh yeah, he said yeah.
Wife? Kids?
That's correct.
This way. He kind of motions for you to follow, continuing his line of questioning. You miss him?
Well, of course.
Debo, is your character telling the truth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get mad, pussy. Fuck you and your fucking gay shit.
Debo just fucking in Among Us mode right now. Fucking faggot.
I mean, yeah, it's a Brian character.
8,000 IQ all according to plan, every single character, no fucking variance. Yeah, me too, yeah, me too, yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, knowing that, I'll see if I can get you back to your family in one piece. That
is my goal, yes.
That is, if you want to return. I mean, I'm sure you can miss someone and not want to go back. Gods know I miss my old lady. And, you know, I send her some coin every so often, but I wouldn't go back. Granted.
I guess shrugs and, well, I've never considered it. Leaving, that is.
What did you do before you became a soldier?
I think there was a fucking...
The real challenge of the game. Not the monsters, not the curses, not the combat.
You and your fucking line of questioning, faggot. Atticus would be like, I was a fisherman.
Yeah, respectable. I was a potterer myself. Yeah, that was alright. To be honest with you, I could have kept doing that the rest of my life, but...
I couldn't have. I fucking hated it.
There has
The
to be.
fish, the slimy, the cold, unblinking eyes. Disgusting.
Yeah, but the sea. The open sea. Freedom.
That's,
Pause game. I just realized.
there's a cauldron of untold horrors.
Pause game. I just realized Atticus is squeamish. He fucking hauled a shit-stained deer like 30 miles.
Oh, yeah. You want me to roll squeamish?
I actually said a while back that you lost that flaw.
Oh,
Yeah. I mentioned
Never
it a while
mind.
back. Yeah, you lost that flaw, Debo. Do you still have it?
Oh, yeah. It's still on my sheet, Lil.
Yeah, remember when you got rid of it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't have it anymore. That's why I haven't been calling for it.
I just have this fucking bullshit called the Death Tithe.
What else do you have on your sheet, Debo, under flaws?
Righteous.
Anything else?
No, because I'm not insane.
Let's see.
He only has 7 sanity, never got to maximum.
Ah, there was something you forgot to write down. Good. Good.
Oh, yeah?
Alright. It's fine.
Oh, yeah?
Don't worry about it.
I think you're making shit up.
No,
Fuck
no, no.
you. Fuck
No,
you.
go back-
Tell me, little bitch.
You go back in the old recordings.
Yeah, tell me, little bitch.
Oh, Blexus. Blexus.
Tell me, little bitch. I ain't going back looking through no fucking recordings where it's like fucking Octopath Traveler or fucking gameplay. Fuck you, little bitch.
Coherent shitting, pissing, and helicopter digging. Oh my god. Alright. I never met a fisherman that didn't like his trade, but, well, you're a strange one, Atticus. What was it like in the Imperial military? Didn't really, get involved in that racket in Farcraft. Struck out on my own from a young age.
It's like any other military, I'd imagine you polish the right boots and kiss the right asses, and all of a sudden you are posted in Tantia.
He kind of looks at you and grins a bit, kind of a teasing fashion. How's that working out for you?
Well, it's working out much like the deer's hind quarters.
So, it smells awful, but it's edible. And with a lot of salt.
A lot of salt.
Understandable. Wait a minute. Morgan kind of holds a hand up, and he stops moving.
Yep, Atticus poses.
He lowers his hand. Huh. Yeah, they were here, all right. Furrows his brows a bit, and he kind of... Oh! He kind of holds his hand out across your chest, and thankfully he did, because just at that last second, as you guys were about to step through the brush, there's a sharp dip downward, kind of one of those steep hills you sometimes run into in the woods. And not paying attention or casually discussing things as you guys were, you could have gone for quite a hell of a tumble. He gives a sigh of relief. Right. Oh, down this hill, slowly.
Yep, he follows along, nodding his thanks and all that shit.
Give me a climb check. And, yeah, just give me a 10.
Oh, I auto this shit and I have parkour low.
Yeah, you managed to, kind of slowly lower yourself along the steep kind of sloped edge, and you kind of work your way around some of the downed trees and growth until eventually you hear what sounds like noises and laughter, but it's a couple minutes away yet. Morgan kind of looks at you. It sounds like there's quite a few of them. Oh, do you hear that?
Listens. Does he hear anything?
Oh! Oh! You hear screaming. Oh!
Yep. He hears that.
Looks like maybe they caught someone. Strange. Didn't see anybody abducted on the way here. Maybe they caught them further up. No, that can't be right. You see any carts along the plains? Down the cliffs?
Does he?
You can't remember. And, Morgan doesn't seem to remember anything.
Shakes his head. I didn't see anything when I was away. This be some manner of... Wait, is it a guy actually, like, can I visibly see him?
You can't see. It's still a couple minutes ahead of you, but you do hear the shouting.
Is that all I hear?
Yeah, it sounds like pained yelps.
It could be one of them pretending to lure in travelers.
Could be. Well, was hoping not to have to use this, but comes to it, he pats something at his side. You see, a dark spherical object with a wick at the end of it.
Yes. He nods, immediately recognizing it, and Wolverine photoing his old one that was lost forever eternally.
Right, well, we either go out with a bang, or we get the jump on.
I'm more partial to getting the jump on them.
Alright. Just keep your ears open.
Yep. He does so. He's keeping his alertness, stealthy, all that shit.
Okay. Spoon!
Yep.
Give me a census check. Nice. What'd you get, Spoon?
Let me look.
Okay.
28?
28? Yeah, okay. Yeah, you get a really good check. Okay. You hear several voices approaching your general direction. You can't make out anything. You can't distinguish any words yet. It's all mumbling. But you most certainly know there's definitely more than 2 or 3.
Do I know what direction they're coming from?
Yeah. They're coming in from the direction of the woods nearby, uh, east of the location that Atticus and Morgan disappeared. So slightly further in.
Does that mean that they would basically be funneled into the traps, like was the plan?
Well, if my map is correct, then yes. However, um, I would still need to not only wait for them to get in that general area, but also roll to see if they see them. So at the moment, you just hear indecipherable mumbling coming from about 25, 30 meters away, give or take.
Okay. From the direction that they're traveling to presumably go get to my area, is
Yep.
there any cover or shrubbery or
Where you
sort
are.
of... Okay.
You're pretty much in like a rocky outcropping that has had some like brush and trees kind of thrown over it in such a way that like it's mostly covered. There's some growth nearby and a couple trees that kind of like uh, essentially make it look less suspicious and a bit more camouflaged and appearing as like a natural part of the environment. But upon closer inspection, definitely stands out as something man-made.
Okay, I will sit there and I will attempt to the best of my ability, remain hidden.
Okay.
For the moment.
All right. Yeah, just give me a stealth check. I'm gonna give you a. I'm gonna give you a plus. I was gonna say I was gonna give you a plus 10 because you're just behind complete cover. You're making no noise. You're sitting completely still. What do you get?
16.
Okay, 16 for the scene. Okay. Um, Emerging from the woods, you can see roughly 4 toughs, uh, each having a fairly shady, kind of outlandish look. Lots of furs and leathers with fairly basic but competent-looking weaponry. They each have kind of a hardened look about them, and there's a couple of them that are younger, but 2 of them are definitely older men. One of them has a fairly significant, large, and nasty-looking scar that travels down from the left side of his face across his neck and trails down underneath his armor, presumably down his shoulder. The rest of them, they seem to be having a discussion. Are you sure that you saw them coming this way? Yeah. I was in the trees up on high. It was a cart, and there was 3 of them. They all looked like they had some things of value. One of them even had one of those Imperial noise sticks. Those are guns, you idiot. Right. One of those. All right. And what about the rest of them? Some haggard-looking fellow, and I don't know. He looked like an Imperial, but he had a nasty look on his face. Where'd you see them? Where'd you see them lay down? I can't remember. It was still evening. Damn, you came back too early. Right. Well, if we find them, you know the drill. Take them for what they're worth, and leave them somewhere nobody will find them. Right. All right, let's look around. Maybe we'll find them. All right. Okay. Spoon.
Brian.
Oh, that's so mean. Okay, I'm just gonna. Fair enough. I was gonna use my 1. For the most part, the situation is quiet, save for the light snoring that you can just barely hear coming from the merchant's barrel. The scene seems to be calm. You can hear footsteps of the men as they crunch through the brush. Shh. Look over there! You, get up in that tree! See what you can find! Seems as though they saw you coming, and given the area that you're in, that's not really a surprise. More importantly, they either land so that when Atticus and Morgan were gone, that they would spring their little patrol, or it was just happenstance. Regardless, you're in a situation where you've got anywhere from 4 to 5 men scouring the area for you and the rest of your party. However, at the moment, you're completely hidden. What do you wish to do?
I'm gonna, from my position, if a guy gets into a tree, how much easier of a time is he gonna have to see me?
He won't be able to see down into your location because of where you've basically been positioned. You're essentially covered enough by the what's the proper term for when trees kind of overlap the sky enough? Canopy?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, canopy kind of overlaps the area enough that even up in a tree, he wouldn't be able to see you, especially since you're in that rocky outcropping, and you've got the extra cover provided. It's unlikely that he would see you, short of making a miraculous check.
Alright, so my character is currently in sit there and wait for further developments mode.
Hey, understandable. Okay. Nope. You hear like a deathly loud cry coming from the coming from one side. What? Thomas! What happened? Oh, my leg! Oh, it's broken in half.
Oh, I just realized he fell into a trap!
Dumb.
I was like, what the fuck, are there monsters now too? I didn't sign up for this. Wait a minute, the traps.
It's actually effective. What the fuck?
Traps actually do shit and things that aren't Andy's game? The fuck?
Shh, quiet, Tom. Bro, if you guys ever get caught in traps, fucking pray.
I mean, we almost got caught except for a bullshit roll.
Yeah, pretty much. No, these aren't any traps, though. Traps by themselves are decent. This is a bounty hunter trap.
I want to get some. Where do I get them?
I thought the bear trap was bad.
Where's the fucking
Wait,
bounty?
can I learn how to do these?
No,
No.
this is exclusive to the bounty hunter. Yeah, bounty hunter makes his traps are harder to escape than normal. He gets a +3 bonus to setting them, and they need to succeed the check with an additional +10 added to the difficulty. And a bounty hunter can use the same talent to escape or avoid any trap they would otherwise have been caught in. The traps that the bounty hunter tends to get, assuming Morgan has these same traps, is in order to escape them, you need to succeed a strength check versus a DC 20, and then you need to check to see if your character is maimed. That is also a DC 20, or your leg is considered maimed, which means you can only move as fast as your race's base movement, and only when you succeed a strength DC 15 versus pain until healed.
All right, sounds good to me.
Yep.
Mike Atticus would. Does he hear it? I see.
No,
he does.
you're not in
far
the.
away.
You're fairly far away.
He'll probably ask Morgan when I can if they want to take them alive or not.
Morgan basically says, well, they're always worth more alive, but I don't know how much food we have.
Well, it's not far until we have to deliver them, is it?
No, it's not. Well, he thinks on it. Yeah, Willenheim has a... Yeah. They have some holding cells that are looking fairly empty right now. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to front the bill, as it were.
Atticus nods and just says, well, I have my rope just in case.
Yeah. Kind of, both you and Morgan kind of hear something in the distance, but it's very light. It's almost imperceivable. You hear that? Kind of looks around.
No, what?
I'm just hearing things. Let's keep going.
Uh,
All right. Oh, oh, it's snapped in half. Oh, oh, God. All right, calm down. Shh. What do we have? Oh, Jared, put a rag in his mouth.
Yo, when you get the trapper trap and don't have iron, well, that dumb fuck.
Oh, 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 Thomas, it's snapped in half. This has to come off. But Thomas, we don't have anybody that can fix your leg. This has to come off. No, just leave me. Just leave me. Let me die. Nope. We still need you. You're the best cook we have. Come on. Oh, damn this thing. What is this? Ah, shit. Hold on. I'll head back to the camp. I'm gonna see if I can find something to help us out. Right. I'll get one of the pry bars. And I'll tell Wallace. Alright. One of the, you hear the shrubbery kind of shake a bit. Oh my God! What? Jared! One of the guys begins to falter. Okay. He, visibly shaken, he looks around, and he draws his short sword. They know we're here! They know we're here! Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Zachariah! Help Jared! I'll take Thomas! Let's drag them away! Oh, bastards! Oh. All right. Sake. Back to the adventures of Devo and Morgan. All right. Eventually, you guys manage to see a small, modest stack of smoke rising in the distance. And deeper in the woods, you can see that there's been a kind of a small makeshift palisade camp set up near a cave entrance. At the front of it, you can see that the fire is still going, and it seems to still be maintained. However, outside of a couple of the benches nearby, and the pot underneath that is still bubbling with some contents, it seems as though none of the actual outlaws are at the front. It's safe to assume that they're likely deeper in the cave where it's cooler. Krisha is fairly hot at most times of the year, barring winter. So it makes sense that they would be underground, set up in a place as such. However, they've left their food cooking out there. Hey, Atticus, look.
Yeah, Atticus looks at what's indicated.
I can't see any. Think they're inside?
It could be. Should take a look around.
All right. All right. Here's what will happen. Now, fight. And then it happens.
What happens?
You see, emerging from within the cave, along with a few smaller humanoids, a large, heavily muscled, clad in furs, bald, with two sharp tusk-like teeth sticking out of the center. An incredibly big man, or something else. Do you have monster knowledge?
Yep.
That's an ogre.
That's...
He steps out, massive, hulking and muscular, with a big gut. And he looks over to his human subordinates. Human stew finished yet? The two bandits look at him. No, Grobble. It's not done yet. It needs another, this many minutes. I hate waiting. Maybe I go and work for other bandits. You're always late with food.
an opportunity.
The two bandits kind of look up at him. No, Grobble. No. We can pay. You just be patient. We'll get you what you need. The men are out there. They saw some people coming in on the road. People? How many? Wallace said 3. Oh, 3. That is good for his fingers. 1 day. This many is 1. One of the looks at him. Oh yeah, that's right. It's good for 1. That's 1, all right. You're very smart, Grobble. Grobble kind of looks over at him. You making fun of Grobble? No, not at all. You've learned a lot. I'm very impressed, Grobble. Good. Grobble always was smartest of brothers. Kind of sits down on by bench. And then something else. His nose perks up. You smell that? You can see Morgan. You can almost somehow across the universe feel Morgan's sphincter tighten. Food ready now. And then release all at once. He looks over at you. He holds a finger up to his lips, and you can see that even Morgan, who has seemed fairly unshakable up to now, is very, very nervous. He points at your gun, and then he does the finger wag. Don't shoot.
Yep, he's not.
The ogre, once finally allowed to fully stand and exit the wide mouth of the cave, if you had to guess, he's probably anywhere from 11 to 14 feet tall. Just an absolute
Yeah, but I could
unit
take him.
of a creature.
I could take him.
And more importantly, it seems like either through the innovation of the bandits themselves or through his own genius, he has a fairly interesting-looking set of armor strapped to his chest.
I can take him.
And by armor, I mean some sort of thick metal plate, much thicker than human armor. To give you an idea, At the angle you can see him at when he turns to his side casually during conversation, or when he impatiently kind of stomps around waiting for the stew to just be that right bit, you can see that what he's wearing is probably about an inch to an inch and a quarter thick. And your weapon, as powerful as it is, would struggle to get through that.
That's why I aim for the head, idiot.
Fortunately, Debo, there are no called shots in this system.
That's because you're gay.
Yep. There's a reason why there's no called shots in this
That's
system.
because you're fucking gay.
No, you better suck my ass that there aren't. Otherwise, the NPCs would have them too. Brother. Grobble ends up sitting down in a large, kind of carved out boulder, likely by him, carved out by himself. He tends to have a long it's difficult to describe. It's like a long club, but with knots along the side made of stone, as if he's kind of hammered them in primitively. Some of them even appear sharp. A normal person could not make any use of such a weapon, but given what he is, he could probably turn anything into a highly deadly and lethal implement of war. Morgan kind of looks at you. You can tell he's hesitant to even speak. And he just remains low to the ground and just points at his ears.
Yeah, Abacus looks to them and stares.
You can see that his hand hasn't left the black, presumably grenade at his side since laying eyes on the ogre. You can visibly start to hear his breathing pick up a bit, but he does calm himself. To give you an idea,
Trees around?
you guys are basically kind of at the very top of a sloped kind of hill that leads down into their encampment. You've got enough brush and cover that you're hidden for the most part, and nobody is actively looking for you given the situation unfolding. So right now you're not being seen.
I could use guerrilla warfare and attack like a nigger, but
You could. I would, if you have any questions about your monster knowledge skill, I'd recommend you ask.
yeah, like what is the monster knowledge Pokedex entry on an ogre?
So ogres are very big. They're very tough. They're not particularly smart on the best of days. Unlike some monsters like trolls, they can be reasoned with, and they have been known in more liberal or relaxed societies to be willing to work with or alongside humans if the pay is right. However, they are incredibly expensive, and only the desperate typically work for less than what would be considered a farmer's small fortune. Ogres are not evil creatures by nature. Of course, certain places will tell you otherwise, particularly the Imperium. Ogres are not evil by nature. However, they have ravenous appetites, and usually the characteristic that makes them the most contentious, at least in terms of how to define them, is their temper. Ogres typically have fast tempers, and if they feel insulted, they're likely to lash out. And given their size and strength compared to humans, and even some slightly lesser humanoids, that is incredibly dangerous. Knights on horseback get swept away in swaths by ogres if the conditions are right. And if, the weapon they're using is right. Ogres are also...
I want to kill Shrek. I want to recruit him.
Unlike trolls, though, ogres don't have any regenerative capabilities, and unlike trolls, they're not they don't require any overt tactics to defeat. In theory, you can defeat an ogre in close combat or at range, provided you can outrun it. However, while not being particularly fast, ogres cover a lot of distance very quickly.
I have fucking Grand Tumble though, so
They have very difficult kind of wide sweeping attacks that are hard to avoid, and while not as skilled per se as even the most skilled humans, ogres are typically very proficient in combat. That is typically how they get ahead in the world, is by fighting and taking things. And they encounter all sorts of monsters, people, and creatures along the way. An ogre doesn't really finesse or skill their way through combat most of the time, as they simply barge their way through. They're one of the few examples of strength being viable on its own. Basically, they cover so much area per swing and do so much damage that, all it takes is one error. But, as said prior, ogres are not evil, and they can be reasoned with, duped, tricked, and otherwise kind of forestalled, with the only exception being toward their hunger. Ogres aren't usually excessively greedy. Their hunger is their weakness. In multiple ways. So, that's what I will give you.
Atticus would have overheard this, and then he holds his hand up to Morgan and says, "No, don't put that away for now. We could try to bargain with it."
Morgan kind of lowers his crossbow, and he kind of he keeps it in his hands, but it's lowered, much like your musket is. He looks over at you and goes, even if you could make that shot, I don't know if you'd get through that.
Well, consider his complaint about not having enough food. Well, no, I suppose we do need the trophies.
Do you imagine what we'd get for that?
Yes, he thinks about it. Can you handle the other men?
I'm not worried about them.
Well, I am. I can. Well, not on my own, of course. That weapon you have there, that may be the key to succeeding. But I believe it will need to be placed somewhere effectively as opposed to openly thrown.
No, this is all wrong. We're gonna need something else. We need to approach this differently.
How would you recommend then?
A bigger trap.
Do we have the time for such a thing? There's that hole.
For the bounty that would give us, I've got the time.
Yeah, I guess Atticus would nod and indicate to move back, I guess.
Right. Let's head back and check on Randall and see what's transpired in the meantime. Hopefully him and the merchant are still there. But we can't fight like this.
Yep, Atticus would nod and lead off back towards the camp. Being careful and all that shit.
All right. That's where I'm calling it.
Yeah. Fucking Game Boy. How much XP do I get?
2, both of you. Fuck off, nigger.
Oh yeah, I only get 2. I fucking killed a deer and made it shit everywhere. Fuck you.
What do you guys think?
Pretty good.
Yeah. You like that plot twist, Debo?
I don't like that you're gonna make me try and kill Shrek.
Why does everybody always feel bad about killing ogres? Jesus Christ.
Because you're making me kill Shrek.
They just hangry, man.
Hungry boys.
Deadass, if I could feed an ogre somewhat reliably, I would straight up just take him with me.
Yeah. Like, you need to be scared of ogres, but there's hope.
I
If
mean,
that was a troll, oh boy. That
if that was a troll, I wouldn't bother. I'd be like, I'm out.
yeah, we're fucked.
I'm not even bothering, my dude.
Ogres are tough, but they don't tend to regenerate.
Set him on fire.
On the plus side, trolls are loners and they don't work with people. So, but I mean, yeah.
My plan in going head to head with that ogre would have been take the grenade, sneak up close, practically fucking reverse pickpocket into his ass, and leave.
Imagine if he survived.
If he survived, he'd be pissed, and then that's when I pull out the gun and go, "All right, time for round B."
How? All right, Debo, you fucked him up, and he's still alive.
That's when I try the sword.
My plan for going head to head with the ogre is lament that I'm probably the slowest fucking character here as I run the fuck away.
Actually, with the spear, I would have like a chance.
The spear?
You know how brace typically works?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that works pretty much in all situations. However, the reason why it works so well is because most things don't voluntarily say fuck it and go to impale themselves on spears or are durable enough to not give a shit.
I
You know what
mean, he's dumb, so why can't he be as dumb as Doohig? Fuck you.
Well, no,
He
but
can
that's
probably
that's the
afford to be
thing.
as dumb as Doohig. He has an
can
iron
be.
plate.
He's just got like a single kind of gut plate, pretty much, and that's it.
You're a fucking gut plate.
Fucking Morgan, like, oh yeah, this would be easy clap. Ogre shows up, the entire universe felt his sphincter tighten.
Don't think I didn't notice you used that fucking, like, stored one, by the way.
Oh yeah, brother. That's going to become an official rule. I like how that's turning out. It lets me throw you guys curveballs.
Oh, yeah?
Girl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think you're fucking toast piece of poop.
There can be situations where, like, there are less deadly enemies, but that are much more dangerous. Like fucking fucking little like I have this idea in my head for like little niggardly goblin fucking skink tier enemies with like poison darts that like shoot out from trees and shit. Dude, that's toxic. That's actually fucked up. At least this enemy is straight up, you know?
Yeah.